didn't see the blink I have in my eye.
What you hear in yourself when no one's to be found? What keeps you eased up? What takes you off your mind?
You better, cause you want this, I want this. Everybody in this, we should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Yeah, you better take the time to recognize it. You won't leave me even if I tried it. You're the artist in the mass and happily perform the new in your hands.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, ride around the city with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, but we ain't with all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made $1 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, you can't hold that. 12 asking better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Ooh, big dog. They come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy petty, got me break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to live, dog. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet.
What is up, creators? Happy Friday. First of all, let's give a little gratitude. Let's start the day off with a little bit of gratitudification happening out here in these real and digital streets. First and foremost, I am your hostess, the mostess, Diana Gladney. And if you are new around these parts out here in these real or digital streets, like I said, my name is Diana Gladney. Nice to meet you. My channel name is Diana Gladney. But this is the Friday Live Helpcast. But today we're doing things a little bit differently. So we're going to be going through some of the deals, steals, and if it's worth not even really looking at this year for the gear stuffifications happening out here as well online. Because I'm sure if you're like me, you probably woke up to a bajillion emails. But like I said, we're going to get this thing started off first with a little bit of gratitude. I don't know how everybody does for their own Thanksgiving stuff, but happy Thanksgiving. Okay, if you had no one share a little bit of gratitude or thankfulness for you, I'm grateful that you're here. I'm thankful that you're here. Keep coming back every single week. And if it's your first time being here, congrats. And you know what? For the first time yesterday, as I was going through some messages, I noticed, because I was sending, friends like, here's what I'm grateful for about you and stuff like that. And what I noticed was not everybody gets a chance to hear that. And it never dawned on me because that's just normal within my friends group, within my family and things like that. And it's not all hunky-dory for everybody. So I get it. So you're not going to put it on a sour note, but I just want you to know I am appreciative of you. I'm grateful for you. I'm glad that you are here because you don't have to be. Okay? Glad that you woke up this morning. Glad that you got lungs in your air in your lungs. Yeah, we're glad you got lungs in your chest too. Shoot. Let's be grateful for hashtag all of the things. So we're going to start off with a little gratitude. Just put in the chat what you're grateful for. What are you grateful for? Just one thing. It's like, I'm grateful I got a job. It may not be the best job. I'm grateful I got a job. I'm like, I'm grateful I own a camera. I'm grateful I own 2 cameras. Okay? But I just want you to know I'm thankful for you. Now, let's get into a little bit of what we got going on for today. We're going to be taking a look at some deals online just to see what things are worth taking a look at, what things are kind of like worth skipping because it just has a Black Friday tag, but it's not really a tag that's needed because it's just the regular retail price. Okay, if you watch The Price is Right, we're going to check that out and see if it's going to be the price is right for you today. And if you do have specific gear needs, we're going to be opening up so that you can drop in your questions as always and get your questions answered. So if you're looking for a specific gear, you are trying to tussle between 1 or 2 different options, you just like, I don't even know where to start with what even to ask for, you can drop all that stuff. Start with a Q colon. So if the chat gets busy, I can at least search by that and try to keep up allegedly. Alrighty. So let's see what we got going on in here in chat. We got Mari's Music in the building saying happy Thanksgiving, DG, white chocolate forever. And this is the pinnacle of society right here. This is why we do this each and every week. Okay? Because it's always going to be a white chocolate Friday. You know what I mean? It's good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Just Tornado in the building saying, I'm up here with the Gladney goals. Hey. I know the countdown timer gets gets the juices flowing right, it always just feels good to me. Anyway, you know, it's like, I'm like, yeah, that's the right vibe. So I said my video editor, Judd, when he still worked for me, he doesn't anymore, but when he worked for me, I was like, I need to do this. So he did a fantastic job. So shout out to him. 5 hours of deals. No, big no. We're not doing no 5-hour energy live stream today. Okay, because as I said last week, I'm in preparations to do and launch my own thing. We're not going to do it in Black Friday because honestly, Black Friday is just a mess. And all the emails, honestly, that come out around Black Friday, it's not bad. It's not all bad, but they kind of sus at times. And it's just sometimes overwhelm. You get it? So for me, I'm going to do Cyber Monday and be a little different. So my deal is dropping on Cyber Monday, and I'll probably talk more about that in the stream. But if you are on the email list, then you'll get more details about that and such. And I'll probably put on the community post once it goes live what that is. But if you're on the email list, then you get first dibs. So that's how that works. So what is up? Stephen Lipman, Wealth Accelerator. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Nice, brilliant little profile pic you got going on. I love seeing smiling, happy faces saying, hey, Diana, grateful for health and happiness. That is what I am talking about. On that note, I had a friend, or have a friend from college. And I remember, this may be TMI, but because we were roommates. And so when he would go to the bathroom, you'd hear very loudly, okay, he's having a commode moment. And he'd be like, ooh, thank you, Lord. So I said, what are you doing? He said, I just figured, because he's a goofball too, but I know he like sincerely meant it. He's like, well, I just figured not everybody have control of their bowels, and I'm just grateful that I do. And so it's so funny. Like, that's just like burned into my memory. So it's like health and happiness that, hey, it's some little stuff. It's like you don't think about, but it's like, hey, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for it. So health and happiness, 100%. See, I'm grateful I have a portion of my right mind still to be up and at 'em. I heard that we're not going to do a portion. We got all of it. Okay, we can claim all of it. But I heard that's, not going to get off too in the deep end, but it's like you see a lot of stuff online. It's like, golly, just the amount of stuff that people have to deal with. I'm happy and I'm grateful. Happy and grateful. And I'm grateful for my family. That is what I am talking about. Loving on your loved ones, right? Tell them thank you. Tell them I'm grateful for you. Tell them I love you. Give them a hug a little bit tighter today because they probably just need it. You never know. What is up, Oscar and Emily Salazar? Good to see you. Nice shiny faces there. Nice in English. Nice smiling profile photo. Saying hello from South Texas. Shout out to the state with the best clouds in the business. So good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying hi. I didn't have bowel control. My bingo. Hey, you gotta be glad for it. After yesterday, everybody gonna be doing a little bit more prayer if you overate yesterday. Okay, at least here in the U.S. where we have a Thanksgiving. So it's a little different in Canada. I think y'all's is in October or something like that. Anyway, alrighty. So got the gratefulness going. Feel free to drop those questions in the chat. So first and foremost, it was a deal that I saw that I sent out to the email list earlier this week because it's always a question of cameras, right? And so a lot of people are like, should I get this one? What you'll see a lot of times is older, and I'm saying older with quotations around it, you'll see older cameras go on sale. Those are not bad, but I caution you for this. If you know that it does not serve all of your must-have non-negotiables, it's going to check off all the boxes, it's better to hold on to what money you have and either save just that little. It's usually, I promise you, I've had so many of these conversations via emails, DMs, hashtag, all the things. You are usually $100, $200, and sometimes $300 away from the actual camera that will do the job for you. So if you can temper your expectations, hold on to that, because all you need is like 48 hours. Feel free, add it to the cart. Feel free to add it to a list, but you don't need to necessarily check out, because what's going to happen on Amazon, a lot of these sales, and I've been doing this for years now, a lot of these sales are going to roll over from Black Friday, and the tag will simply change. The deal won't change most of the time, unless it's something that's severely discounted, which we don't see a ton anymore. But you'll usually see, if it's like 10, 15, 20% off, then it usually will go into a Cyber Monday deal. If it's on a platform or a local camera store, then at that point it's probably going to go away with Black Friday. They may do a Cyber Monday deal, but it may not be the same. And so what I noticed was, for example, the Sony ZV-E 10 Mark I that y'all saw me gush over. The camera was even just being rumored because I'm like, this is going to be the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame. Well, one of the deals that were out this week, I'm checking to see if it's still live right now, is one of the Sony ECM mics that we talked about last week on the Friday Live Helpcast, where you don't need any cables. You can, but you don't need any 3.5 millimeter cables. You just plug it directly into the hot shoe, and the electronics in the camera and electronics in the hot shoe speak to each other. It lowers the noise floor, so you're not picking up as much noise, and it just freaking works, and it's amazing. And you can adjust if you want it to be for two people. Do you want it to pick up noise all around you? Do you want it to just only focus on you, and a ton of other things? So that microphone, they usually have a couple different tiers. This is like the second tiers. It's like maybe $300 for this microphone. This is at the cost, and I do see this deal is still up, so we're going to go over to it real quick. This deal is for the price of the camera. You're getting a free microphone, a $300 Sony microphone, and that's that ECM B whatever it is. Sounds like bingo. We really need to figure this out, Sony. I love y'all. You know what I mean? I hope that you love me for as much as it might be sellings for you. I would hope that we have enough trust amongst ourselves that we can change these names, because ECM-S1, it sounds like a serial number, not necessarily anything else. So this is the deal. It's not even saying it up here. You don't see it in the picture or whatever. You just see the camera. So you see $598 or $598. Not that big of a deal, right? Okie dokie. Well, if we go over to look at what this microphone actually costs, not Opus Clip. I was looking them up earlier. So it's the ECM B1. So this isn't the longer one. This is the shorter joint. So you'll see you got the B1M. So this is the one that you usually don't see in the kits. What you'll usually see, it's a different one. I don't even know if they have them. Yeah, let's just do ECM, Sony ECM mics, and see, because I want to show you all of them real quick. ECM. Good Lord. Can we pick better names on the stream and then do it? Like, we'll change the names. Like, I wish I really could. So this is the difference here. You see this G1. That's the base level one that usually comes, and it's not a bad one, but the difference is, and why I didn't personally care for it, is because on the back of this microphone, you can't change the settings. Like, you can't adjust what you see. So like for the audio, let's see if we can get a rear shot here. So you notice how it's just the microphone capsule itself. Great, but it's basically letting the camera and the mic handle it. That always makes me feel personally a little uncomfortable, even with the DJI mics. That would make me feel a little uncomfortable because they have the Sony adapter. Well, this one that comes with that Sony ZV-E 10 kit is this one. This is the more expensive one, and you do get to make that adjustment. So this is like a shorter version of those other ones. And if you pay attention, this is what you actually see. One of the mics that you actually see some of your favorite creators use. Some of them prefer the longer, bigger ones. Personally, if you plan to travel in this next year, if you plan to create, the shorter one is just fine, because when you're adjusting the polarity or the pickup pattern or what have you, when you put that to just facing you in the front, like you see here, it's the different cardioid, like polar patterns or whatever. So like you'll see with like these kind of microphones, dynamic cardioid type microphones, it's only going to pick up about the size of your head. You move the microphone away, then the audio starts to get worse. It's like that. So you put it on this one, the one that is on right now that you see in the picture, that's basically like this microphone. The one to the right of that, where it's a little bit more narrow, that's a super cardioid pickup pattern. And that means you're really cutting out any noise. I've like seen this kind of stuff on there. So this is a microphone that you get for free. See how it's $300 price tag. You get for free. Let's go back to the deal with this Sony ZV-E 10 Mark I. Now you need to make sure, I'll drop a link to this in the chat, but you need to make sure that you pick just this one. And you can pick like if you want it black or white or what have you. The model needs to be the base. And then when you come and select the mic ECM S1, then you'll see that price is $598. So if you go to like camera only and the base or whatever, guess what? Same price. Most people are just like flying by their, like, because it's like, oh, I don't see anything in the picture. You got to read the text. So this is like one of the biggest sleeper deals that I wanted to get out the go right away. So if you are looking to have that studio camera that does everything for you, make sure that you pick the base. I don't know if this is going to be for the white version or not. Then make sure you pick the ECM-S1. And then from there, you will see that it has the camera and the mic. Okay. So, and then you also, one last thing over here in the corner where it says ships and sold by Amazon. That is what you want. You do not want some random brand person, which it could be anybody off the street, make a seller account on Amazon. Because if I wanted to sell my stuff, I could, but then you have like different stuff going on with the shipping, or that's when you usually see like you have to pay for shipping, even if you have Prime or something like that. So you want to make sure that it is shipped by and sold by Amazon. And then you get all of that Amazon protection and stuff that you would usually get, customer service issues. And again, this is a brand new camera at that price. Why would you want to get this one over the Mark I? Because you're looking for a studio camera. You're looking for that one that's going to stay on the tripod and it's not moving. You need to film your talks or whatever. And you don't want to have to worry about autofocus. You need to flip out screen. You need the basics of like, I'll say 90% of everything done right. The reason why I'll say 90% because 10-bit isn't a requirement for everybody, nor honestly, if we're being 100% honest, do everybody have the capabilities? It's nice to have the ceiling because then you won't need to upgrade later. But it's like, meh. So I'm gonna put this Sony ZV-E10 deal. This is for the Mark I in the chat. So y'all could get access to that. The other thing, the reason why I say it's like 90%, that other 10% I would add into biggest issue, stabilization. Now, if you plan to vlog, maybe you want to vlog with this camera. I did it for over a year. The one thing that I will say benefit wise, it's small, it's lightweight. It checks all the boxes for literally if you have like a jacket, a bigger jacket or something, you literally can fit it in a pocket. With the 10-18 on, which is what I travel with. Kit lens, even better. But for vlogging, you're going to need something with the optical steady shot. So for me, I'm going to recommend still to this day, the Sony 10-18, even for the Mark II, is the best lens out the gate for that because it's just not worth it. Now, here's a bit of a warning. Here's why I say I want to go through these deals live with y'all. I've been looking at these deals for years and years on end. This is something I do literally every week. I get people to go to my contact page on my website and say, hey, Diana, this is the link to this thing. Can you help me? And I'll say, get this one. Don't get this one. Yes, that's fine. No, you're overbuying X, Y, and Z. I do that every week in the inbox. And then if those that send stuff on Instagram DMs, we wind up going to the inbox anyway, so we have a better space to chat. Now, here's something I want to forewarn you. You'll hear this stuff. You'll see all these tags. And here's where it gets concerning. And I had to do a ton of work to stay on top of this stuff in 2020. Now, I just mentioned the 10-18, right? But y'all see that this price is absorbently high. At no time, never, except for when this lens was brand new, it was like $800 and $900. At no time, never should you be paying $1,000 for a lens that is this old. And age doesn't dictate the price with lenses because the glass doesn't go bad, right? As long as it's a good lens, it's a good lens. So if we come over here and you see this one for $1,000, this is now price gouging. So as soon as this stream is probably over, I'm going to go ahead and mark this as price gouging so that Amazon can take a look with it. I did so many of these in what's the name of, what do you call it? 2020, because I had PDFs on it, every email. Oh my goodness. So be careful of this kind of stuff. If the price don't feel right, it probably ain't. So that's not proper grammatical English, but it's still the truth. So if the price is not right, it probably isn't. There you go. So this is absolutely price gouging, but the reason why I said ships and sold by, if you look over here, ships and sold by AVC, photo, whatever. So that's usually somebody selling it. Yeah, you have 312 ratings. I promise you, everybody did not pay that much money. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to watch for. You can, though, come over here sometimes and look for the used is still fine. I'll go through that in a second of what to look for if you're buying used, because that does make everybody feel a little weird. Usually if you see like it's multiple ones, this one says it only has one left, so you don't see anything listed underneath. But this ships and sold by, that's not Amazon. They are listed on Amazon, but that is not it's like, I bought it from Amazon. No, you bought it from AVC Photo. It was posted on Amazon. It's a difference. So when you see this kind of stuff, it's price gouging. This is the kind of stuff that I want you to ask about, because it's not, no. That lens is even discontinued by Sony. It still works. It's still good. But even like at $559, that is very high, in my opinion, because it was just like $300 and $400. So if you look at these are the ones that it's like, yes, is the right lens, wrong listings. So price gouging is what's happening right now, because I'm not even seeing the prices that we were getting for this. I don't recommend a 10 to 20 for vlogging on the ZV-E10 models because of the need for stabilization in the lens, and this one don't have it. It is a fantastic lens. I've tried it. I've used it. It's great, but this is not a great lens for those cameras when you really need stabilization, unless you're good with using Catalyst Browse and you're like that workflow doesn't bother you, then you're all right. So I know I've been going for a second. Let's go over to the chat real quick. Say what's what. Keep saying that comment to Ornado. We are not doing 5-hour energy live stream. Shoot. Blessed white chocolate day, everybody. Indeed, JFK Productions. I am down with that. Saying Amazon sales aren't actually sales. Don't get tricked. Just either save or spend. That's the biggest thing. It's like not all of, just because it has a Black Friday tag, it's still the regular retail price that has been. And sometimes, like I said, it can seem like it, like that one with the Sony ZV-10. It seems unassuming, like no big deal, or there's no deal there. Sometimes you got to scroll a little bit better. So it's a wild day. I miss Black Friday from the 90s. I'm not going to hold you. I miss it. Bill Clinton says hello. Well, Bill, we welcome you to the stream. If you need a camera, if it's the real Bill Clinton, it'll be a mess, right? Good to see you, Bill. Glad that you are here. Said a Black Friday deal, Elgato prompter direct to their site is $199, includes a free key light mini. Not sure if this is really a deal. So great question. Let's take a look. What I also noticed with companies that you like, what I'm finding honestly is most of the deals are great for software this year. I'm seeing a lot of good software deals, but what I'm not seeing is usually websites would post all of their stuff on their main homepage. They're not this year. What they're doing is you needed to be on their email list in order to get the deal. So if you're not on the email list, then you don't get the deal. Some are, some aren't. But for the majority of them that I usually would see, it's not on the homepage. So let's take a look at the difference pricing wise. And I'll tell you exactly how I do this so you feel confident even once we get off of here. If you find something else, or you could like, it's like, oh man, that was a, so let's take a look. And then too, some people are price matching. So that's another thing that you could probably lean into today. Alrighty, so I'm going to the website. I'm just not wasting the time on, well, you know what? Let me bring y'all over here. Might as well. So if we take a look, can we just do a search for them exactly? Yay, nay, never nay. Let's see what they got. I'm not going to hold you. I like the Stream Deck that they have with the buttons. That's very close to my Loop Deck. That was a cool deal that I saw that they have. And then the stand that I use, the LP, this is not on sale. I don't know. This is a bundle, but this is not on sale, but the stand was. So I don't know if that's still a deal. Yeah, $74. That's not bad. And pull this up real quick in the background. But this, if you wanted this stand, this is the same one that I use. Why I like this one. It's sturdy, it's heavy, and it can handle heavy microphones. Not all of them can, or even when you tighten it down with Thor's freaking hammer and wrench, it still is not great. So, but this one's cool. I've been using this one since it came out. Hello prompter. All right, so $199. This is, in my opinion, like same old, same old. So this is $199, saying like you can save up to 30%. I like Elgato, but this is kind of like what you usually see. You pull it up on Amazon, $199. So even if it is like, oh man, it's usually like $250, which I think it kind of was somewhere in that 200 something, a little bit over $200 price range. So $199 isn't bad. It isn't necessarily great, but it's, you know what I mean? It's like, are you really saving 30%? It's debatable. It's debatable. Like I said, if you go on launch day price versus today, then yes, but over the, like you usually see them around 200 something dollars. So you're not going to save a ton. You will save something, but you're not going to save a ton. So like the way I'll do it is I'll look on Amazon, then I'll look on, again, ships and sold by Amazon. Big when you're doing these larger purchases, and to make sure either that it's sold by the store, or usually when it is sold by the store, it's shipped and sold by Amazon. So not a big deal. One last check that I'll do is B&H Photo Videos, because they are usually really good with the deals. Let's do the Elgato prompter. So I'll cross compare prices, and then it's like see what's what, and it's $199 across the board. So even if now I will say this with B&H Photo, when they say they're doing a deal and then the deal goes away, they mean it. They actually mean it. Like it's not like, hey, we're just playing with the text on the internet and we'll swipe. No, they actually mean it. And so if you message them when they say this deal will end on December the 2nd, so there's no rush on this one. But when they say it will end on December the 2nd, they actually mean it. Now, one of the things that could have happened if it was like, let's say $250 or $220 or something like that, whatever, $230, then if the manufacturer overall decreased price, or it's like, hey, to our people that can sell it, you know, what are they, like authorized retailers, this is the price that we're doing, and then everybody brought it down, then that's why it's like you cross compare, you're not going to find a better deal unless you buy it used, which in this case, used isn't bad, because what happens, you got to think also buyer psychology when you're looking at stuff like this. You'll also see when somebody returns something like this, I can tell you usually what happens. They saw the hype, they were like, I always wanted a teleprompter. And a couple things happen. Number one, they realized using a teleprompter actually requires you to gain a new skill, which is reading and not looking like you're reading, or reading the text and not looking dead. And so it's like, hi, my name's Diana. Welcome to the Helpcast. And today I'm going to help you. Right? Sounds like a bad, like news anchor person or whatever, you know what I mean? So, or politician. So that usually happens, and they like, this is not for me. I'm actually better with my notes or something else, or whatever they've been doing. The second kind of buyer psychology with this particular device is I want to try it and see if it makes a difference in helping me, which a lot of people bought this for, simply being able to do my Zoom calls and look into the camera. So either you have the people that bought it, buyer's remorse, because maybe they figure out content creation is not right for them. That happens. The other thing is those that they buy it and it's like, this is not that big of a difference for me. Or maybe they realize I would prefer a bigger screen. So there's one of those two, or one of those three type of scenarios, unless you have somebody that just buy it and they love it. But usually when somebody's returning a product like this, it's not because it's bad. It's not because something's wrong with it, or there's a technical issue. I find Elgato actually does a great job. That's the kind of buyer psychology. So this is when you could safely buy used if you wanted to. But again, the used price is not like it's dumb. So you can tell it's a little bit of something coming off the top, because of these are probably still closer to, I don't know, prices are weird today. But again, Sammy's cameras actually that's Sammy's Mart. That's not Sammy's camera. Yeah, I don't know. You gotta watch the prices though. That's why I said specifically, you buying on Amazon today, who is it shipped and sold by? As much as you can. Usually when you open up that option and you can see sold by such and such, whatever, just check in the corner If you don't see ships and sold by Amazon, expand it down, see other sellers, and then find the one that's by Amazon, because for whatever reason, they don't take priority. So that's a deal that is debatable. You have at least some days with B&H Photo. And the other thing I like about B&H Photo is you actually get the free shipping past a certain dollar amount. So this would qualify. Actually, I want to see real quick what Black Friday deals they actually have. So they got the M4 for $529 mini. So these are the deals, like I said, for B&H. When they say their stuff is only for a certain date and time, they actually mean it. They may do something different for Cyber Monday exactly, but, you know, we'll see. This is another one that is questionable. I was curious if this was going to go on sale. Be careful with these. I like these, but for whatever reason, there was an issue. My video editor, Judd, and I've told the story before, had an issue where his went corrupt. Mine hasn't and still works great, you know, but allegedly. So it's been so many people having issues with this where not that it gets dropped, not that anything happens. It literally lives on the desk connected to the computer or whatever, or traveling with you. These are rugged. These are great. I actually really enjoy it, but these have some questionable issues with the serial number type thing. So this is one of those purchases where it will go beyond the warranty period, or return window rather, if you run into a problem with it. So you got to use your best judgment of if you're willing to trust this. For me, I'll go to my same old, and that's the Samsung. If you're trying to do SSDs, I'm gonna take a look at SSDs overall, but Samsung SSDs, what was it, like they up to the T7s now, but I want to see what the T5s are, because again, usually if you go a little bit older, you'll find a better deal. So this for $139, this T7s are the more recent ones, but it's like you can go back a couple models if they still have them. So a little bit cheaper over there. That's 2 terabytes. The other one was 4 terabytes. So this is $129. Hold on, let me price check real quick. So it's $279, $30 in cart. Okay, $30 coupon in cart. So that's 4 terabytes versus 2. I don't know. I'm hard pressed to fill up 2 terabytes, but I get a couple and space it out versus one big thing, because 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So the T5 is $299, 1 terabyte deal. So yeah, it's not a great deal for this one. So you are better off going with the later version, which is the T7. And even though these don't have like that rugged design, I have, if anything has ever been abused, my SSDs have. When I'm traveling, they've hit pavement. I don't even understand why they jump out of my book bag the way that they do, but they like to go bungee jumping, and these have survived. I have the T5, so T7, same thing, just a little bit faster or whatever. These are dope. The reason I want you all to start using SSDs, if you're not already, versus SD cards, which we'll get to next. When you have data, 2 is 1, 1 is none. So if you can swing it, get 2 of these. If you can only get 1, 2 terabytes is solid. Like that's enough space. And it's great because when you're editing, and you'll hear people say edit from the SSD drive or edit from the hard drive, nobody really explains that. It's a great idea for me to do a video around. But what happens is I'm putting my Final Cut Pro library there. I'm putting all of the stuff there. And then when I insert my SD card, I may upload that data there. Personally, I don't, because it's not, unless it's a ton of footage or something, but I usually keep it on the card, but maybe I'll upload it there and then we upload it to the cloud in Dropbox. So it's at least saved, the raw file is at least saved in 2 to 3 different places. But editing from the SSD saves you space and the frustration and all of the push and drive. Even when you have a great computer, it still can get overworked or bogged down to a point. So what I'll do is put my Final Cut Pro library on my hard drive. I'm editing at that point now from the hard drive instead of having all of that stuff saved on the computer. So when people say they edit from the SSD drive, that's what they think they mean. That's what we mean. And that's what you do. It's the best workflow system, because when you need to pack up and go, you're not having to ship a bunch of stuff from the computer to now the SSD drive and on and on. You can literally go sit in a coffee shop if that's your jam. So this is what I like. You can get other SSDs. Let's take a look real quick, and then we want to go to SD cards. So if you like to do the builder, Bob the Builder type stuff, Samsung has them, Crucial has them. Usually these are just already good deals, no necessarily Black Friday stuff, but it's debatable. If you want to do one of those, I just like to go with those I trust and those that have good customer service. So Western Digital, that's not a bad brand, but again, if you want to build your own case, kind of a trigger, that's what that is. This is the Shield one. Again, it's like it says that it's rugged. The other ones are honestly rugged. They just don't have a rugged shell. You could probably buy a rubber coating to slide it into on Amazon, but Bob's your uncle on that one. You usually see a bunch of other ones. I don't recommend nothing I wouldn't trust my own data to, honestly. So that's where I go off with that. Let's take a look at SD cards real quick. One of these. I know they have some other ones, and SanDisk usually always has a great deal. That's going to be too big. Let's just go here. All right, so SD cards. I'm going to tell y'all right now, don't you dare get that 1 terabyte SSD, or not an SSD, 1 terabyte SD card. Don't you do it for no Sony ZV-10s, not even the ZV-E1. Don't you do it. Do not do it. It's not necessary. Get you a couple of these. 128 is like bare minimum. 64 is a backup. And then 256 and 512s. Let those be your main squeeze. Even 128 is fine. But this is the one that's on sale for $18. This is a great run it everyday card. These are the same ones that I use. I have them on my desk. Same ones that I use. These are great. So what I like about these is just are reliable. Personally, I've been using these for years. They are reliable. This is not necessarily the ones that you want for your 4K 124 22 10-bit type stuff, but you can, as quiet as kept, you can do the 422 10-bit H.265 codec like that you have in the Sony ZV-10 Mark II, A6700, A7C Mark II, and the ZV-E1. All those cameras, A7 IV, I've used it. In these cameras, it works. And it works well. And I've been doing it for the past year plus. So this is a great deal to add some to it. Why get this one versus like a 1 terabyte SD card? 2 is 1, 1 is none. And I promise you just don't want to have your stuff go corrupt, which is a great deal. But you don't want your stuff to go corrupt and you're doing a bunch of like, I'm a batch record 12 videos. Put them on the 1 terabyte SSD, and then what happens when the little lock breaks off, which these are prone to do. These are not the Sony Tough cards, so they're prone to do. The other thing that happens, unfortunately, with these kind of cards, it's not exclusive to SanDisk. Just go back to this one. Oh, all the photos the same. All right, so I'm just gonna have to show you because it's not doing it. All right, so on the back, you'll see these gold connector pins. Right? See those? What happens is this is just 2 really thin pieces of plastic and some gold metal plate connector plate pins in here. When you're traveling, basic wear and tear on your equipment, not abusing it, throwing it across the room. We're doing normal stuff. Right? Occasional drop because you accidentally dropped it across multiple surfaces at different heights. At least 5'5", right? So these are great, but they do have the potential to over time break. So the reason why I say get a couple of these is because what happens is if one breaks for $18, you can have 2, 3, and 4 of those spaced out your recording. The other benefit of getting a couple of these is when you have more than one of these, not only can you put A-roll on one card and B-roll on another so that you can, number one, have flexibility. Because one of the things that happens that you don't really hear talked about, you'd have to be in the room recording with a creator like myself or whatever, is that when you go to do the B-roll, you'll have an idea or something that happens in editing. And it's just like, oh, I need a new clip for that. If you only have everything, your A and B-roll on one SD card, now you have to remove all of it. I don't know what it is, but the more you take your stuff in and out of the computer on an actively working edit, the more higher of a chance you start increasing of having some kind of digital corruption that happens, whether that be sometimes in the project and sometimes whether that be with the file. It's not always, but you just start having little weird stuff that happens, which is why you don't delete from your SD card on your computer. You format in the camera. So just little stuff that happens. Not that you can do it like 3 or 4 times, you're safe, you're fine. But just like the more you start to do it, or you never delete stuff, or you're deleting it from the computer, you just start to introduce the possibility to have more issues. I don't know why, but it's just been my experience, as well as other creators' experience as well. So you get a couple of those, you keep your A-roll content in the thing, and if anything, you only need to take the B-roll one out. And so even if you need to get a time lapse, you need to do something else, or you want to record B-roll of you working for that clip, you can have that rolling in the camera and not have to take everything that you need for editing with the A-roll out of the computer and stuff like that. So that's something that you want to consider. Like, people don't think about most of the time, like when you're new or whatever. So that's something that comes up. Oscar and Emily saying, I like that mic. I took the bait and ordered the DJI mini mic to pair with our Pocket 3. On that note, I'm coming right back to you, Oscar. On that note, I have great news. Saying I should have it today, but do I need a better mic for our ZV-1 Mark II? No. No. Because the thing with that is you got a lot of versatility. I will put it to you that you can do stuff that you don't really think about with your DJI mics. And honestly, it can work like a regular shotgun microphone. It can work in any of the scenarios. Usually you see people holding it, and all that does is now replacing what used to be like a stick microphone, or you see people holding the lapels. If that's not your jam, or you feel like that's too TikTok-y or whatever, then you don't have to. What you can do, funniest thing is, like, I will boom that microphone in like weird scenarios, because I'm like, I have my shotgun microphone. I still use the Movo VXR10 from years ago, just because I like it. And it cost me $30. It's like probably the best investment I ever made. But I really like it. It's dang near indestructible. And I'm like, I need the audio and the noise reduction, and I need all these other benefits of the DJI mic, but I don't feel like taking like my shotgun microphone off. I'll clip that microphone onto the wind furry on the tip of the microphone, and I'll use it that way, because I don't feel like undoing all of my stuff. And I'm just like, I just need to do this one video, or like sometimes like a testimonial video, or sometimes like I've been working on projects with other people. Like, y'all may have seen the one I did with Primal Video on their channel. Okay, it's like, oh, we need a clip for this. Like, okay, let me sit down and do a clip. I'm like, okay, I need to use DJI mics, but I don't feel like undoing my vlogging setup. Very small, lazy moment. I'll just clip it onto the wind furry and do that. Other fun fact, you have longer hair, I'll clip it on my hair. Nobody knows. I've done this for a friend that needed to do a shoot for her. She was doing a local event, and we needed to do a promo video. And so at that time, I was using the Rode mics, but same rules apply. She had dreadlocks too, so I just clipped it on her hair, and you couldn't see it. So it's little stuff that you can do with it that you know what I mean? So you don't necessarily need it for something else, but it's up to you if you want to. Personally, if I'm doing a vlog mic, let's see here. I don't like, it's something to be said about having a vlogging mic if you're going to use it, because you can use the front directional mics, which I've done in traveling with this, like the basic wind furry on there, which is nice. You don't need to. I gave the use case for it. Like, you don't have to, because you can honestly put the little mic up there on the hot shoe. It just will be acting as a cold shoe though at that point, and you could use it that way. I've done that before. But do you need a vlogging microphone? You probably may want one. It's like, can you get away with not needing one? Yes. But if you know from you and how you create, and like just your usual quirks about stuff, if you don't want to be finicky with something, and you don't feel like messing with this and connecting this and that and whatever, then you probably want a shotgun style microphone. So at that point, it just now depends. Do you care or want or would want to try like the new Sony ECM type microphones where you don't need any cables? Or would you prefer to just get something super basic that is a shotgun microphone, but it does the job? I know a lot of people were just fanatical about the, what do you call them? Dual microphones, one in the front, one in the back. I cannot tell you how many people do not actually use that. It lasted for a few months. unless they actually had a use case for that on the regular, because that finicky type, like I'm tired of messing with it thing kicked in when it was simply adjusting the wind furries. And that was across the board for all of the microphones. So a lot of people own them. How much they actively use them, not too many. That's why a lot of people switched over. So that's why I say you need to know yourself. I'll show you like the one I said, like this BXR10. I've had this since 2018, literally same microphone. I don't know if this is really a deal, because it kind of hits around here most of the time. It has hit that $50 price tag, and it actually will ship out at $50. So this is the deal. This is a deal. I personally don't like the Pro one. It has a headphone port on the back. It's too noisy. It's too noisy. It's too loud. It's a little bit bigger, and it's not as good, in my opinion. So I will go into that maybe allegedly later. This is the one I've been using for forever. And it's a full metal body. I have mine is gray. This one just happens to be black or whatever. And I did some adjustments to mine because I did have one of the, or do have one of the older Rode microphones. I bought the Lear, so I replaced that red part because that is not good in my opinion. That's the part that sucks about this. The wind furry is fine. You get cables with this. Everything else is fine. I just replaced the bottom. I think it's called like a rye coat Lear or something like that, or Lyre. Depends on how they actually pronounce it these days. But that's the only part that I replaced was this little red part, because that part actually sucks. Everything else about the kit works, which is why most people just kind of go with the Rode shotgun microphone. But this is what I've been using for years. And the reason why I like this personally over the Rode shotgun microphones, the smaller ones, is because it's quieter. It has a lower noise floor. So if we're in a room, we're in a hotel space or whatever, and do side-by-side comparison, everything audio levels the same on my camera, my friend's camera, we got the exact same settings. You record with both. The noise floor is lower on the Movo mic than on the Rhodes. If that doesn't matter to you, it won't make a difference, then, you know, so be it. But this is the one I've been using. This is on sale for the $30. So this is where it used to be years ago, price-wise, but it has been shipping for $50 more recently. But like I said, it's worth taking a look at. But this is really cool. I'll add the links to the SD cards, SSD, and some other stuff that I didn't add. So I'll drop those down below. But I'll drop this one too, just in case. But yeah, it's just more or less, would you want one? Some people don't want a shotgun microphone, and I've tried that route, and I gotta say it's pretty liberating, especially with the ZV-E1, the mics on the front. The ZV-1 has those newer mics too. Just a wind muff and you're traveling. With a vlog, people are more forgiving because they just don't care. They just don't care. Like, they're in for the experience. They're not like caring about anything else for real. As long as it's not terrible and like you're maintaining the noise and all that kind of stuff for the most part. Most editing software have it now built in where you can kind of remove the noise. It's a great price to get some stuff, like as far as that mic is concerned. And then the SanDisk, I'm gonna drop that for the, like, whether you do the 1 terabyte or the 256 for this one, it's really a preference at this point. It's not a bad deal either way. Personally, 256 and 128 is the sweet spot, in my opinion, because 512 is like if you're doing excessively long recordings. Even like if I've done like an hour, 45-minute raw recording for a podcast or whatever, and those are super long, then that's still fine at 256. I've not found like much need for a 512 unless I'm doing like, even when I'm traveling and I'm recording my talk, I'm vlogging that day, I'm doing some shorts, like I have all that stuff. It's like on a 256 card. So it just depends on the use case. But if you're doing like basic content creation type stuff, 256 is more than enough. 128 is fine if you want to spread it around. So I'm gonna do the 128 for the $18. I think that is a great deal for that one. So I'll drop that one down in the comments, in the chat, and then I'll check out some of the questions that came in, if we got any questions for what's what, or if you have any confusions around deal and what's worth it or whatever. And then I'm gonna give you one of the best buys that's happened software wise today that I think is definitely hitting that bee's knees list. I mean, if you're looking for something like monitors, cables, stuff like that, Monitors you'll usually see on sale. Those are pretty good. It's like if you get the discount, get the discount. Make sure the port matches HDMI or DisplayPort, whatever tickles your fancy or it connects up to your stuff. I think the biggest win for Black Friday now, because it's not necessarily the big stuff. Like I said, B&H had one for like the M4. That's cool that we're seeing discounts on that already. But unless you need a big buy type something, cameras, you're usually going to see older ones like the A7 III from 2018. You'll usually see those kind of cameras have more steeper discounts, and we can take a look at those if y'all want. Lenses, sometimes not a ton, but like you saw with the 10 to 18, even for the older stuff, a little bit of price gouging happening. It's just a weird kind of situation with some of those. And it sucks, honestly. I'd love to see some better stuff happening, but I mentioned, you mentioned earlier about the DJI microphone. I have a surprise for you, my friend. We have in this box that shall not be spoken of, we have a brand deal with DJI coming, guys. So shout out to you, to the community, Glad Game on Fleek. They sent us the whole kit, the whole shebang. So you can expect that video. Like I said, it's still in the box, so we got to get content for it or whatever. So we just sealed the deal on that one. This one just came, so a little sneaky peeky that is coming. But yeah, so 2 terabyte SATA SSDs used to be $70 a few years ago. Again, it's like data is the more expensive thing now, simply because everything is software based for the most part. Like, or some element of software to a point. So it's like that's usually the better deal happening these days. So I said I want to share with you one of the best deals out here in the business. This is going to be Ecamm Live. If you've seen my content sitting at set desk most of the time not even most of the time, nearly all the times for the podcast, it's Ecamm Live. It's what I'm using to run the stream right now that we do this on every Friday. So this is one of the best deals that they usually have for the year. This is one of those ones that when it goes away, it will not come back. And if it does, it may be different next year. So this is the higher price that I've seen for the year. So this is on the Ecamm annual plans. And so if you look at it, it is darn near half off. It's 40% off, but it's darn near half off. So $960 per month over the usual $16 for the standard. And then for the Pro, $32 is usually what it is per month, versus now it's $19.20. I highly recommend, if you have a Mac, because this is Mac only, that is one of the things that sometimes people are like, oh man, this made me convert to Mac. I'm not gonna hold you. This and Final Cut Pro was the reason I switched over, and I do not regret it at all. And I have some friends where it's like, well, what do I do? I'm like, you get you a streaming machine, you get you a content machine, and then you run everything else that you like to use or whatever for your PC. It's like, it's not a or situation. Let it become an and, because a lot of times you don't have to spend a ton of money or a grip of money on a Mac, any Mac, to get it. And so usually the Mac Mini fits the bill. Honestly, it's like the M1, M2s would be a great deal. So Pros, $19.20 per month, 40% off. These are on the annual plans. It's not on the monthly plan. So once you click that over, it goes away. So I would highly recommend, if you plan to create content at any point this year, you plan it, not even just, let's say you don't stream, that's fine. I probably use Ecamm. No, it's not even probably. I can tell you, I use Ecamm more as a recording than I do for streaming, because we only have to stream every Friday. So what happens is, when I want to do this type of scenario, I want to do 4K, I want to do 2K, I want to do 1080p, which a lot of ones out there, they're more browser based, which are not necessarily bad. It's just different. When the internet goes away, or like the temperature dropped like crazy, little ice situation happening here in St. Louis. Okay, well, sometimes that may knock out a power line or something weird happens. Okay, well, when the internet goes away, so goes my ability to use that software. That was the biggest thing for me, why I didn't go with a browser-based solution versus this. Because again, the day you have internet issues, no recording, no content that day. You can't do your show. Whereas with this, I can record regardless. So as long as I have electricity and my computer, I can create. I've done events with this. I've done mastermind events with this. I've done live streamings. Usually what I like to use it for when I'm doing any kind of teaching stuff is if I have my slides, I'll put those in the Final Cut and people are like, okay, Diana, you take it away. And I'll come to the digital stage or whatever. I'm doing a live event virtually. I don't need to use whatever their proprietary tool is or Zoom or whatever the case. And I get my own recording of my talk because I can record and be in that Zoom room at the same time. So I don't have to say, hey, do you got the recording? And then you get some crunchy looking, ugly Zoom file that's 720p or worse with all these labels and tags everywhere where your stuff can just be professional. So that is one of the main things I use it for. Even my vertical videos where you see me like this, but it's just vertical, recorded vertically in Ecamm. So when I export, whether I want that to be 1080p, 2K, or 4K, it already is. So I can't gush enough about this. If you gonna get Ecamm, get it. I'm gonna drop my affiliate link in the chat. Get it. Like, I have no qualms about saying get it. If you need a Mac, take someone that you love and tell them that because Thanksgiving is here, say, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. I'm taking your Mac so I can get Ecamm Live. If nothing else, even if you don't have a Mac, buy the software and get the computer when you can get the, if it's in a month or two or whatever, because I get it. Some people do wait for larger purchases after January. If you get a refund check or whatever, get the software now. Buy the software now. Get the deal now. And even if your computer is coming in a month or something like that, get it now. If it's on a Christmas list, good chance your spouse is going to love on you a little bit and do that for you. Get the software now because they're not redoing this deal. And that's again, once the deal is gone, it's gone. So I'm going to drop my affiliate link in the chat. This is what I use to stream every week. You can customize it, brand it, hashtag all the things. See, Dyna.link/Ecamm. Why can I not type as well as I would like to this fine day? All right. So this will take you over. All right. All right. Let me scroll up in the chat and see what we got goings on. Oh, man, I didn't got behind in the chat. I was trying to do good today. All right. Let me see. Not much. Not by much. All right. I just said, shoot, the other day. And thought about you and hollered. I heard that saying, hi, I want to get into YouTube videos and I have narrowed my search to the Lumix S9 or the Sony A6700. So both are good options. I would say, and I'm pull up just to see if we have any deals on those this fine day. Let's see. We're going to do Lumix S9. And usually what you want to do, like I said, you want to cross-check that with some other site. I usually like to check B&H because they will do price matching already. You don't have to ask about it. So Lumix S9 and you're going to do the Sony a6700. That's what you're vouching for. A couple things. This is a great camera. Like, it's not... A couple things like that you kind of have to get over is the I'm never going to buy it complainers. People talk on the internet because I just guess sometimes they don't have nobody else to talk to. And so they complain in the comment section and you know what I mean? Which can make making these decisions that much harder. I empathize with that. Sometimes you have to learn to stop listening to the people that are never going to buy this stuff. And they just have big red flags over their comment. I would never buy this. You never probably could buy it. You know what I mean? Like, it's being 100, like, you never probably could. So you have to ignore those people or whatever, or they just brand loyalists to whatever specific brand. So once you can filter through, if you can, that kind of stuff, and if you can't, I get it. But if you get past all that stuff, what are we looking at? Brass tacks. What are we looking at? When we look at specs for it, we also want to look at just not comparing this camera spec. Go away. We're not just looking at one camera spec versus another camera spec, right? And so it's like, well, this one has 422. Let me go back. This one has 422 10-bit such and such. Well, this one has or whatever. Just put all that by the side. Take a deep breath. When we look at this one, we know, yes, it has the 6K 30, 420 10-bit, 24 megapixel full frame sensor. It has great autofocus. It has 4K 60 422 10-bit. It's lightweight. It's small. It has some other stuff in there that's fun, and I like it. I really don't have too qualms with it. What we need to look at now is, how do you plan to create? Most of the times you don't know. So here's what I usually ask. Now we're going to go down to the video stuff, video specs. And what we'll notice is recording limit. It says that it's up to 15 minutes in 4K. This is one of the biggest hangups with this, and it's some other ones with the other recording modes. I just don't remember off the bat, but it varies from 1080p to 4K or whatever. If you're going to record in 4K, this is the one that usually means the most. So 15 minutes in 4K, whereas with the A6700, that can do up to 4K 120p. It has the 1080. It has all the stuff. Incredible autofocus, even better than the Lumix, but they're both great now. Is the 15-minute recording limit anything that you're going to run into? The way you can figure that out is by asking yourself, in this camera ships today. Let's say it gets delivered to your house now. You pull it out the box. Let's pretend you'd already know everything about everything with this camera. You don't have to research settings or nothing. Let's say it's just like you're 100% comfortable with it. You know everything. Let's pretend that. This being the case, what's the first piece of content that you make either today or this week? How long are those videos going to be? Now, if you've never recorded content, chances are you're going to wax this 15-minute mark, which looks like in real time. It's how we used to feel back in the day. What looks like is you're sitting there, you're recording, and you're in the middle of talking, and you're like, yeah, so like tip number 2, when you finally get into recording, stop. Because you're so now used to being trained to look into the lens versus looking at yourself off to the side. You're trying to look into the lens. You're not paying attention to that red ring around the screen went away. And so you're talking and you're like, man, that was the best take ever. I did the best job ever in recording that. It took me a couple times. And you look, it's like, when did the recording stop? When did you cut off? And you're like, alrighty, you check the footage. And it cut off in the mid-sentence. Now you have to re-record. So usually, like I said, at 15, even like I think it's like 20, 25 minutes or something like that around the 1080p mark. Probably have to look that up in just a second. But you're going to wax that. Because we used to hit that easy in 30 minutes. And that's like new beginner. I'm figuring out what to say. I don't have a framework for how to say whatever, right? 15 minutes in 4K, if you plan to record 4K, is no big deal. If most of your content is shorts and vertical videos, no big deal. Because at best, at longest, with multiple takes, is 5, 7, maybe 10 minutes for a vertical clip, depending on what you're doing, if you're trying to nail lines or whatever kind of stuff. So vertical videos, no big deal. You're not going to run into it. Vlogging, no big deal. You're not going to run into it. Since you're new, it's hard to figure out those questions. So that's why I said, pretend you already know how to use a camera. Pretend you know everything about everything. This camera gets shipped to your house today. What's the first thing you're recording this week? Now, let's stretch ahead. What's the first thing you're recording this month? Like in that first month you got this camera. Now, what are you recording? What are you creating? Are we doing podcast? Are we live streaming with this or whatever? Cool. If you are recording at a desk, you're doing something like this, you get that Ecamm deal like I talked about. Okay, well, the recording limit ceases to matter now. And this is what you didn't hear in like a lot of videos. When the camera first came out, it's kind of hard trying to cover everything, but this is just like a consideration that went past a lot of people's heads because it was getting bashed for no reason, honestly, when this camera first launched. And I'm spending a lot of time on this because this is the stuff that's not present online. So you got it hooked up like this with the HDMI into the computer. The recording limit ceases to matter because right now I've been going for an hour. I'd never had to hit the record button, but I will have this recording on my computer. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So now that's why I said, what are you doing? Because if you're hooking it up to your computer, you're doing content like this, whether that be a podcast, you're not recording necessarily in camera. You're recording to maybe like that SSD drive that I talked about before. you're recording to like with software. So your computer is managing the recording, or more or less that SSD drive, not recording in the camera. So that makes life a whole lot easier. So if you know you're going to be recording in your home office, a corner of the room, a room you've designated for your YouTube studio space and stuff like that, you're doing this kind of a content. It's a lot of times I don't ever have to use my SD cards because I'm doing this. And because it has clean HDMI and works great, then that's fantastic. Now, I didn't need to spend that much time on the Sony a6700 because you'll find a lot of great info out there already. The a6700 now, you want the best in business for autofocus. Let's pull that up. You want the best in class for autofocus. It is an APS-C sensor, which most of the time when you're new, it doesn't mean anything to you. But I'm pointing it out just because there is a difference, not necessarily because it will make a difference for most creators. Price is similar when we look over here on B&H. So price is very similar. And the specs aren't like you're not getting 6K, whatever. If you never plan to touch that stuff, those again are settings and stuff that do not matter. It just don't matter. Just like for a lot of people, 4K don't matter. It's nice that it has it. I think all cameras should. That's a baseline requirement. But if you're never going to touch 6K or whatever, you never have a reason to record in 6K, squeeze in on the image and still exporting in 4K, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So this is great. I've tried this camera. I've used this camera. The one thing I will say about this that this has over the other one, lens options all day of the week. While the Lumix S9 is great, I think it's honestly one of the better creator cameras that came out recently. This one is just, it's one of those standard, it works. No recording limit, so you never have to worry about it. It's not a complicated top on the, some of that Fuji mess where you feel like you're throwing up gang signs and all of that. And so big battery, way bigger battery than the Lumix S9. So you're going to be able to record a whole lot longer. And like I said, better lens options by far, hands down. It's not even a discussion. While yes, there are third-party lenses doing it for Lumix and stuff, not nearly to the tune as they are doing it for Sony and have been doing. And if vlogging, content creation is your jam, APS-C wins. Even with full frame cameras like the ZV-E E1 and stuff like that, we still are buying APS-C lenses when it comes to some vlogging and content creation scenarios, simply because there's not a great list of them for full frame. Not for Sony anyway. Like you have some lenses, but they're either too big, bulky, or just like in the stratosphere expensive because like why? You know what I mean? So that's the other thing. You'll find great budget-friendly lenses for vlogging, content creation, whatever. There's a ton out there. So that's the only thing with this one. You will have a just spoiled for choices. So that's the other thing with this one. EVF and all that stuff for video content creators doesn't matter. Unless you plan to do any levels of photography or something, then cool. This has, again, still that it has 26, the other one has 24, not a big deal. But I mean, you would get better low light performance, but let's put some parameters around what low light means. For most video content creators, that means if I don't have all the house lights on, will it look bad or will it still look good? If I'm traveling and I'm traveling at night and I finally land in my city at night that I'm traveling to or whatever, can I vlog and walk around town and it still look good? The difference is it's not that big of a difference. Yes, full frame lets in more light because we have a bigger surface area. So it's better in that sense for low light. But most of the time people pop on a kit lens, and even the lens that came out with that was a little crazy. So lenses are a little bit different of an option. But let's say you do something like a kit lens, f3.5 to 5.6. It's not going to let in a ton of light because that aperture is not opening up enough. It's like having like a fist over an eyeball. It's not open up enough to let in as much light. Whereas with the Sony lenses, you can combat that and let in as much light as possible. And you can get something like the Sigma 10 to 18, you get the Sony 10 to 18. But the Sigma's at f2.8. If you want to go super budget friendly, I've been liking to vlog with just because super duper small. It's cheap. If I drop it and break it, I'm not crying. Rokinon 12 millimeter f2, because it's an f2, not an f4 or whatever. So it lets in more light. So for me, that means when I'm traveling and I'm in a hotel room and the lighting is weird, maybe I'm not getting as much sunlight from the hotel windows and stuff, where you're going in and out the halls, the lighting is not, like my camera's not fighting to get more light, or I'm not needing to adjust the ISO. But 9 times out of 10, it don't matter. And like, I'd be 100% honest with you, 9 times out of 10, it don't matter. I think more the bigger question here and the bigger decision lies when you get ready to create. This camera comes to you day one. After you, let's say, pretend you know everything. From day one, week one, what are you creating? You're new to creating. How long is it going to take you to record? It's probably going to take you longer than 15 minutes. So either be prepared to start over with those recording things. I couldn't do that personally. I just don't want to. I don't like it. I couldn't do it. If it was solely for vlogging, vertical videos, which is what that camera is positioned towards for the Lumix X9, perfect. No big deal. You plan to hook it up for live streaming and do stuff like this, recording limit stops being an issue. You want complete freedom, flexibility when it comes to that, just so you don't have to think about it. Sony's the route. That's how I would make that kind of decision. The price is very similar. The sensor size is not that big of a conversation for most people because they're not doing anything to where that really comes into play. You'll hear that mentioned because it is a difference, and you should know it, but it's not like the image is cut off. You get wider lenses. That's all that means. You may get wider lenses, but APS-C is fine. Like, it's honestly one of the best creator sensor sizes in my opinion over anything else. I said 90s Black Friday, when you had to punch folks in the jaw to get your deals. Yeah, I don't know how old everybody is, but there used to be a time to be alive. Okay, just waking up. People used to camp out literal tents, whether they had these already pre-Black Friday or they bought these, had tents, camped out the stores. I remember me and my friend, we were going and we went to go and look at the lines, and she was like, what time we gonna get up? We should get up at like 2 a.m. I said, I promise you, I'm not getting up at 2 a.m. for nothing. Like, ain't nothing I want to buy that's gonna be off the shelf. Like, I promise you. But it's like, it was fine, but the store was demolished. The store was absolutely demolished. So the Tickle Me Elmo craze is still probably my favorite memory. Here's this. Ms. Diana says, Lumix needs glasses with dry, terrible focus. So yes, it depends on the camera now with Lumix. They have improved the autofocus with the Lumix. Let me address that. They have improved the autofocus enough to where I would feel comfortable recommending like the S5 2X, the blackout edition or whatever. And then the Lumix S9 is great. Not all of them. And that's the weird thing. Like, some have it, some don't. Some are still like on a contrast detection autofocus, then it don't. The difference is Sony runs autofocus. Like, every time it's class leading. Where that comes into play as an actual creator, when we're sitting doing our thing, let's say I'm not live and I'm just recording, and I do like this to, look at and write something, and then I look back up or whatever. Or I'm like, oh, let me show you all this great copywriting book on copywriting by Jim Edwards. Okay, when I turn my head, the question now, what I consider good autofocus is little tests. It's not peekaboo with the camera that you will never do in real life. It is, when I do stuff like that, is it focused on the background and it goes to the books and a face back there on a photo, and then when I turn around front facing, then it acquires me. Or when I am vlogging and it's me and my friend, Jill, we were out hanging out at Ecamm Creator Camp last year, and it's like, when I turn to the side and it's dark and there's a light behind me or whatever, is the camera getting confused? Then it's like, at that point, that is what I consider, like, is it reliable or not? From what I'm seeing, and I don't know how much their newer lenses play into that as well versus older ones. I'd have to do like more extensive testing on it to see what's what. Lumix is okay. S5 2X, you're fine. S9, you're fine. Some of the other ones, not so much, because again, not all of them are getting the latest that the newer cameras are. I think moving forward, As long as it has the phase detection, now Lumix is fine. Honestly, Lumix is better than Fuji when it comes to autofocus, because Fuji still gets confused when you turn to the side, like it doesn't know what the side of your face is still a face. But Sony, 100% reliable. One of my favorite memories of it just like being 100% trustworthy. I was recording Growth Video Live 2019, and you got the host up there, so you had Lauren up there on the stage, and then Heather came up there. Okay, so now it picks up both of them. I didn't have to tap the screen. I didn't have to do nothing. I'm just making sure, I'm prepared to make sure that it doesn't lose focus or whatever. So Heather comes up, Lauren hands the mic off, and then she leaves. It doesn't trail off to Lauren because she was the primary person. It just goes now to Heather, and it leaves her alone, like almost as if it was paying attention. And this was A6400. Then the best part of that was when Heather was done, and she's handing the mic off to Sean, and they mixed like this for a second. It picked up Sean, who was now in the front, and it just trailed to him, so I didn't have to like almost disconnect autofocus from Heather. And I'm like, I don't even have to touch nothing. Like, I'm just gonna make sure my pans is solid and people don't sit and freaking rock the table or the thing that I'm standing on. And that was it. So it's like, I'm like, yo, so I remember talking to them about it. And that's like one of the best things when you have other people, when you have it where it's prioritized. Most of the cameras have this now, I think, but I know with Sony's, I'll take one with my my face, one like this, and then one with my hair covered, because whether that's in the evening or whether I'm traveling and I have my hair covered, then I'm like, I just wanted to know what my face looks like in all variations, and then one without my glasses. So it knows prioritize my face over anybody else's face. So when we're at an event and you got a bunch of people walking behind, that was another scenario. I'm doing an interview at a table or whatever. Anybody walking behind, as busy as this was, like San Diego, whatever convention center is called, all the people walking behind are a non-issue. It's just focused on me and the other person. I don't have to play with the autofocus. I can't say to that extent that, you know, I would trust Lumix for all that. I think they're better still, but they are not class leading like Sony. Sony absolutely is the best and has the world fastest autofocus compared to anybody else. But Lumix is better, in my opinion, than Fuji is for a lot of that stuff. Just for now, I said my iPad and Canva remote is teleprompting just fine for me. And I had to get gas under submission and pass on the teleprompter. I've thought about it, but at the same time, like somebody asked, it used to be a big deal, like around 2021, 2022. It was like, they would ask a lot back then. It's like, well, how do you maintain focus with the camera all the time? Do you have like a teleprompter? Do you have a TV underneath or something? I'm like, you learn to just look at the thing. They go, what do you do for your coaching calls? I said, I'll look at the person, like just looking at the screen or whatever, while I'm looking at them. if that's, I need to see whatever. I said, but when I'm talking to them, I look in the lens. They're like, yeah, but you can't see their face. And I'm like, I know. What do you think the news people have been doing all these years? They don't have a big TV to see what that person looks, or they, back in the day, they did. And now you have like different digital interfaces, like so fun, but you really don't. Like, okay, and back to you, Steve, and such or whatever. Now they can see them, but they didn't. So it's just like a muscle that you train, because even when you're recording by yourself, you're not looking at the screen and you're like, okay, today's video is about me doing whatever. You learn to look at the lens. So that's a skill you need regardless. So it's just not that big of a deal. I do want to add where I have a TV underneath, but that's not for, like, again, the Zoom calls. I'll probably use it for that. And that's all, like, again, that is not big enough for me. I already know these prescriptions are going to get updated this year, my glasses, but I don't need a smaller screen, and I'm still trying to focus on what's what. So when I do my slides, that's the other thing. I'm looking at digital presentations. It would be better for me to not have to look over here versus over here, because then we're looking at a 3-screen situation. I don't need a big wall of something. I need it in different positions. So at that point, I'm just going to probably do a TV underneath versus a computer monitor. And that's probably it. But it's like teleprompter is a great idea for those that need it. Small, lightweight, great for traveling. But it's like I'm not a teleprompter person. I'm not against it. I'm just not a teleprompter person. Saying, all great info. Thanks. You are most welcome. Glad to be of service. Okay, yeah, talking. Wish we had something similar to B&H here in Europe. You know what? That's the thing with, and I gotta be honest, I don't know what's gonna happen You hear a lot. I'm not sure what the actual implications of this is, and let's please not go here, but I just want to mention that with B&H, you should be able to, or I think you can. I believe they do ship international. I'm not sure how that's going to change in the next year, though. Right? So we just had a presidential election. Things always shift, and a lot of times you get the hammer that drops on whatever that political party's bigger issues are. And so a lot of that, you again hearing, not really sure what the implications are, truly what it's going to be. I'm just mentioning it because it's something to be aware of with your making big purchases, especially like overseas or whatever. Everybody sounds like the tariffs this and getting this from overseas or whatever. Okay, just keeping it real. I don't know what that's going to look like. So if that changes or like if it becomes better or if it becomes worse. But like I said, I do know that regardless, a change is likely to happen. But I do believe, though, B&H will still ship international. What I've heard from a lot of creators, especially when they are traveling overseas and they need something, they will use B&H because not only will it ship to a hotel or like a Airbnb, but their Payboo card or something like that helps them somehow get around some of those issues. So I would probably do some research into what that connection is with the Payboo situation, because a lot of people that if they're traveling, especially when they buy a lot from B&H, they use Payboo, which is through B&H. It's something that they came up with to get around the sales tax issue back in the day. So that still somehow is still helping with that. So it may be worth taking a look to see if you can get something that way. Saying building is better, going to be building a 40 gigabytes gigabytes per second external SSD tonight using the Samsung Evo 970 and the cases enclosure. Again, I support you. Power to the people. I support you in building. I prefer customer service. If it don't work, I can send it back. I don't want to fiddle with anything. I don't want to figure it out. If it don't work, I can send it back. I don't want a piece. I don't want to solder. I don't want to do nothing. It's just me. And some of that stuff, honestly, is more plug and play. Because I replaced the RAM, like super easy thing, RAM cards on my older PCs before when I was using PC. It's like, so if it's like easy like that, which it seems to be, fine, but I just prefer customer service. Don't work, customer service back to them and they send it back to me, kind of a thing. So then I switched out for one of those in my Osmo Pocket 3, and it totally killed the overheat issues that I was having. I didn't realize that made a difference. Overheat issues with what, though? Let me know. I'm curious what you mean, because I know we talked about the Osmo Pocket before. I know we talked about the DJI mics before. Let me know what's what with that. That's interesting, because granted, it's a smaller device. Overheating is not something I thought about, or even like as a consideration that it's going to be a problem. I used the OG Osmo Pocket 1 when that first came out, and I don't remember having even any overheating issues with that. Granted, we're on a new system and new firmware, new tech. Again, probably more tech in it than some of the stuff. So I don't know. Well, I had to let me know about that one. Saying dropping my Samsung T7 raised my blood pressure. I'm not gonna kid you. Like when I was going out to eat, I dropped my Samsung T5. I think I got that. That's what mine are. T5. Scratched, because this is not the smooth pavement. This is the gravelly, not the loose one, but it's just, I don't know. It's a freaking mess of a parking lot. Again, jumps out of my backpack, and it just bloop, bloop, bloop. After I've done a 3-day in-person podcast, we cannot re-record this footage. We cannot re-record this footage if it is messed up. Now, granted, 2 is 1, 1 is none. I do what I teach, so I have my stuff on the SD card, and I don't delete stuff when I'm doing something that's like I can't re-record it. So I'll leave it on the SD card, flip that SD card over in the case, then I will go ahead and leave it alone. So that's why I said getting like one of those 128s, a few of those, get you a couple of the 256 or one of each or whatever. Great. Done recording on this one. This is for day such and such, time block between here and here. Flip it over. I don't touch it. It stays that way until I get home. I back up it to the SSD, and then overnight upload it to Dropbox. So I got it in 3 places. And I dropped that SSD. I'm like, ooh, if you mess up, ooh, if you break, I'm gonna have an issue out here in this parking lot. And it was fine. So it's all beat up, scratched up, and I apologize to myself for dropping it in the airport, just skedaddling down the hallway, just driving. I'm like, where are you going? How did the zipper even come undone? You know what I mean? So, shoot, it survived. Years and years later, it survived. I said, darn, can't stay any longer. Work calling. Cheers, everyone. Homesick Mac, good to see you. Go enjoy your work. We'll be here for the replay. Have a great day. Say, question, I'm using a Hyperdrive Viper 10 in 2 hub, or I guess in 2 hubs, I guess you mean. Gonna be having 2 or 3 SSDs plugged in into a powered hub. Will it stress out my MacBook? Depends on how much you trust that hub. I don't mind plugging mine into the hub, but at times I will go direct to the computer. What makes the designation for that, and all hubs are slightly different. I'm not familiar with the Hyperdrive Viper. I'll look it up real quick, but I'm not familiar enough with it. Hyperdrive Viper hub. I guess that's USB-C. It depends on how much you trust the hub. Now, it also depends on what ports are in the hub. So this is and you can let me know which of these are yours, but this is one of those smaller joints. I'm not doing it in this one. I'm not, because this is like, even for traveling, it's more similar to this, but I think mine is by, I feel like saying Anchor, but I don't think that's right. But it's something like that. I'm just not sure right now. But I would have to check my bag. But mine is something like this one down here, this Hyperdrive 4K. So it's a little bit bigger, but one of these attachment joints, hell no. And I say that not because it's bad, not because it won't work. Over time, with USB-C, you have to always be so careful with. It will put strain on the overall port. And because of that, then you start getting weaker connections. It's not necessarily going to be an issue with it plugged in. It's like, oh, but it goes into both. It still is straining on both. And USB-C is just known for going weak. And then you have it connected, it disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. And so you get that chime on the computer that is connected, disconnected. And it's just like, what is wrong with you? Because that port is getting weakened because it's getting lower. If you have one of these joints where it is completely full up, like let's just pick this one for example, and you have all of these hooked up, get you a real deal Holyfield something. I'll show you exactly what I use. This is the Cal Digit. Let me clear some of this out. I'll show you exactly what I use and what I've been using. And I recommend the stuff that I battle test. I would be doing these streams. We may be doing a 5-hour energy live stream. We stream it for 5 hours or even 2 or 3 hours like we usually do. And what happened was, it's not sending enough power to the computer. And so I'm now looking like it's 2% left and the stream is dying. So, cool. This is on sale for Black Friday. So this is the one I actually have. You can get, the updated version, which is that TS4, and that's fine. I'm just showing you what I have and what I've been using for, I don't even know how long now. It's got to be since 2020 or 2021. Because I tried a couple other ones and they just either overheat and it can't handle that, which makes your footage, little stuff will happen like your audio and video is out of sync when the actual raw file has no sync issues. But when you're trying to pull that footage through this system, now you're running into problems. So that's why I said, like, if you're going to, you get the bees knees type stuff, something that's reliable. The little joints is fine when you're traveling. That is not what you need to be using on a day-to-day basis. This is what I've been using, and it's because of what's on the back. Number one, what's on the front is what I always use. SD card is actually good, even for 10-bit footage, surprisingly, on that SanDisk card like I talked about. What's this? Mine's the Extreme Pro, so that was what was on sale, so that's fine. I don't use the headphone or the mic port, but it's there. I don't ever use it. The USB-C and the USB-A port there on the front, I do use it, even for transporting footage and stuff. But what I like is it has all the stuff that I need on the back. And that is what you want to look at. What am I needing? What am I running out of space for? And then what do I need? That's why I don't know what on the TS4 is all on the back. We'll take a look. But all of my stuff, minus one or two of these, are full. And I was coming from using one of those travel style like you mentioned. Get something reliable. Get something reliable. Get something reliable. Simply because of the speeds of what you're trying to do. It does us no good to invest $1,000 plus on a computer. $1,000 plus on a camera lens and all that comes with all the stuff that you need. Not to mention the software and SD cards and accessories and stuff like that. And then we cheap out on the data, which is by far the most important thing of the whole bit. Nothing moves without the actual footage. Nothing moves without the actual content being good and stuff. So my stream cable now from the camera is hooked into the TS5. My external monitor is hooked in. My 3 now T5 SSDs are hooked into there. And my Vocaster is plugged into there. And it's no stress on the computer. And that's on a Mac Mini. And I did the same thing on my 2016 MacBook Pro. No issues. And so that's the kind of stuff that you want, and also power delivery. So I said I'd take a look at the TS4 real quick. I'm going to take a look here. And I'll drop the link to that one in the chat in just a second. And I want to see what's on the back. I know it has the micro SD card reader on there, which is always nice, honestly. And it's more or less looks like the same stuff. It just maybe... Oh, the other one that's the 10 gigabytes, 3.2 gen here you see on the far right. Instead of that being a USB-A, that's now a USB-C. So I would look at all the stuff that you actually have. When you look at like your cable management, all that stuff, what are your outputs? What do you actually need for those devices that may be USB-A, but you could do a USB-A to USB-C? Then at that point, you're just switching the cable to further connecting the stuff. And most stuff now is a USB-C. So these have the upgraded Thunderbolt. You see like Thunderbolt 4 ports, USB 4. My version is a little bit older, but right now I don't have any new tech that requires anything more than what I'm doing. But when it's time to upgrade this TS3, I'm gonna get the TS4 or the TS5 or whatever is after that. I'm not getting no random brands that you see on Amazon that may be $50 with 100,000 ratings on Amazon, which I don't see is that sometimes when you buy that stuff, and because I've tried it a lot, it'll be like, if you leave us a 5-star review and then you email us your receipt, we'll send you a $50 Amazon gift card. And so people don't care. They word means nothing. And so if you cheap for $50 and and it's like, well, I can buy my baby some Pampers for $50 kind of a thing, then whatever floats your boat, if finds your lost remote, it just don't for mine. You don't need something reliable, brother. I just wanted to put that on you, let you know, just give you the truth there. You're gonna need something reliable when it comes to that. Saying who's gonna know? They're never gonna know. Saying what's a good sports lens for the Sony ZV-10 Mark II and a good run and gun lens? Ooh, I don't know how deep your pockets is. Chris Cox Gaming, good to see you. Glad you're here. All right, so I'm gonna go to B&H because I do want to show. They just have better pictures. Let's see. I got to tell you, I don't know what sports you're doing, but from experience, f2.8 is golden. Okay, sticker shock maybe, but maybe not, because it just depends on what you're doing. What's the value of the work of like the output? Best lens, in my opinion, 70-200 f2.8 OSS Mark II. Like I said, if you got the deeper pockets, you can make that investment, or you're doing work where it yields a return, and like that's a half of a gig. You know what I'm saying? Like for you to, or half of a shoot, or one client gets you that lens, get the lens. This is the lens you do not need to replace. And this is a lens where I have freaking fallen in love. And I have tried the F4 versions of the Mark I as well, but they are heavier. And so even on a monopod, the thing that most people don't think about is you having to carry it around all day, whether that be in your bag or you're going from the locker room and you're walking across the parking lot. You're getting that game day ready type stuff, let's say football or whatever, then you go into the field. Okay, well, that little bit of you carrying it around over time, it is annoying as hell. This one is crazy how much lighter they were able to make this one. And then I'll give you a more budget friendly range of something if you don't need this full shindig here. Most people say, well, you need F4 for the space. If you do basketball or anything indoors, or maybe like indoor football type arena stuff or soccer, F2.8 makes a bigger difference for the light sensitivity. Whether, like you said, it's on ZV-10 Mark II, great. Now, again, like I said, this is bee's knees, hands down, best favorite lens. Even if it wasn't my favorite lens, it's still the one that I would qualify as the best. Okay, can you get by with an older lens? Yes. You probably want to go a little bit wider because the autofocusing motors wouldn't be as strong. But I'll give you some of my favorite lean and mean, need to travel with it lenses. And that's going to be starting with the Tamron, what is it? The 28-75 to, no, they got the 7. Okay, let's start here. 28 to 75, then they have the 17 to 28. That may be a little bit too wide. So if you have the 28 to 75, you also have to think you have the crop of APS-C. So you're going to get extra reach. Then what you usually won't hear is that most people say with full frame, like I use the ZV-1's full frame camera, when you put on a full frame lens or whatever, and they say, well, I can use APS-C crop mode. Yes, you can, but you're not going to get as higher quality of an output as you would as if you were just natively on APS-C. Because not only do you have that 1.5 times crop working for you and you getting extra range, you can use clear image zoom if you don't need like all the way down at 200, like 72.5 is sweet. But you need something a little bit more than 75. Now you can use the clear image zoom to your benefit, because with the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, you're already looking at a higher megapixel than, like, let's say my ZV-E1 that has 12 megapixels. You already are working with a higher megapixel sensor. APS-C full frame don't matter. It's higher megapixels, right? So when you put on your 28 to 75, for example, and you're like, dag, I need more than 75. I'm at 75, I need more. You can do clear image zoom, and you're now coming from that 25, 26 megapixel. I think it's like 26, something like that, megapixels. And now you have space, you have room to maneuver, and you get a much higher quality image. You don't get that when you have like a lower 18 and 20 megapixel sensor. So you are getting a way better advantage there. So if 75 is close, but you need a little bit more, clear image zoom is going to be your best friend. I absolutely love these. You put like a Black Pro Mist on there, chef's kiss, not because of it getting so much attention these days, but the other thing with that is this lens and the Tamron lenses do something that no other lenses do, which if you needed to go macro, even at 28, you can do it. I don't know what they do in their lenses with magnifications and a bunch of other scientific stuff that I don't understand, but you could put a quarter, you could put a nickel, you could put the tip of a helmet. So if like you're doing photos or you want to do unique shots, this is where that comes into play. So let's say you're doing a shot where you got your football player in the bleachers. They got 1 foot out, or they holding the football or something, but you want to do that larger than life perspective. Something like that. It don't matter any Tamron lens. They all do it. 28 to 75, you go 28. So you have a wider field of view, and you put that football super close, or you put that last cleat on the foot, and it looks like larger than life because you can get super duper close. So you can get some super unique shots with this. I've done 17 to 28, 28 to 75. I really like this range. It's comfortable and it's not bad. It's not, terrible. You'll see those like 18 to 200 type lenses. I don't have any B&H affiliate link, but I'll drop this for you in the chat regardless. If I will say this, if you buy something from B&H, go find a fellow creator that you love that uses B&H affiliate links and support them. That's all. Just support them. That if somebody use have a B&H affiliate link, I just don't. Go to their channel, find a B&H link. Don't matter if it's the same item. Click on it, and then refresh your page or whatever, or get to your item page. That way, you at least support one of your other fellow creators that does some dope stuff. They have another one where I think it's like Tamron or Sigma. They have like these larger ones, this 35 to 150 f2 to f2.8. The only thing you have to watch is when you hit that threshold from when it stops being at an f2 at the widest and you start to zoom in, and let's say you at 50 and then you hit 70 or whatever, at some point in the range, it's going to start going from the aperture being f2 to f2.8. And that's going to make your image slightly darker. Not a ton of difference, but once you find your ideal look and you zooming in and out, that's where a constant aperture matters versus these that have a range. You just need to know when it switches over so you can be consciously aware. If you're in a scenario like sports, they are not going to go back and say, hey, catch that ball again the same way. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You miss it, right? So you just have to be aware of that when you're dealing with these. It's a good aperture, f2 to f2.8. It's actually good. This is another option. You just have to be aware of when it switches over. And like I said, the Tamron lens is great. Sigma has some other great lenses and stuff out there, but Tamron is my favorite. They just work. They're battle tested. They're heavy, so you're not. Even though the back of the camera is a little light, it's still going to feel a little secure. Even on a monopod or in the hand, it'll be okay. And you got that bigger grip from the Z battery of the ZV-10. So those are like my couple top picks that I would go for. Between those, it just depends on the range. So 28 to 75, fine. 35 to 150, fine. But you just need to know if that range is going to change when you start to zoom in and out, like how a kit lens does. So that's something to be aware of. All right. Let me try to catch up. The chat just jumped, going somewhere. I'm gonna catch up though. Let's see here. Saying the box you just spoke, but unspoken of, not to be spoken of. Open the box. I can't, not yet. I mean, I could, but then that would distract away from. My goal today is to help. Okay, you have been helped because I told you. You have been helped because I went through the stuff. It ain't gonna help you for me to open up that it's gonna induce gear lust, okay? Distract away from me answering questions. And I'm not gonna be here for 5 hours today. We already getting close to 2, okay? So, it said, my friend, Habibi, reveal your secrets. I shall not. Okay, my brother, I shall not. So I highly, secondly, recommend to get that deal. Hey man, it's telling you, saying I'm using OBS on Mac and switch to Premiere Pro. Hey, they have my vices. Whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote. I've been an Ecamm fam for a long time. Saying spontaneous testimonial, get Ecamm, you will not regret it. Come on, preaching to the choir. That's what I'm telling you. So you type her better than Doc, even on his best days. The difference with me and my brother Doc is I actually know all of the things of the how to type. It's just my mic stand is in the way. So granted, my teacher would probably be upset with me from high school from looking anyway, but it's like I have my cable from my thing in the way, and I'm like, where's my key? But Doc, it's so funny. It's like you gotta be in person with Doc and see him, and then he'll throw in a middle finger there. He's like, oh, gotcha. He be going. Shout out to Doc Rock. I love my brother, but it's like he be doing like this, and he be like, oh, got that one. It's like, shoot, I feel him though. Saying, hey, Glad Gang, been listening in the car and avoiding all Black Friday spending. I feel you. Like I said, I think the biggest things today is going to be accessories and it's going to be software. Unless you need a bigger purchase, then it's like, great. It's basically like a little bit more for most stuff, a little bit more than sales tax. Which if you can save it. But I've seen better deals for some big purchases, even just for like the used, like gently used market. So, Mr. Camera Junkie in the build, IA, good to see you, my brother. Glad that you are here. Saying literally feeling the repercussions of international shipping from USA today. Saying proceed with caution. Yeah, I think some stores are going to have to create or try to create a scenario or something to where it's a little bit more helpful. Hell, I know some people that have family members here. They just have the family members here buy it, and then they do it in like some kind of personal logistics type situation. Or if they're like, oh, my family's coming at the end of the month to visit us back in Paris or whatever, then it's like, then they just wait. And so sometimes it's a little bit of a waiting game, you know. It is what it is. And jumped out by itself. Hey man, my SSD has concerning issue. That's why I was like, one of them started acting funny. I'm like, you ready to retire, huh? You tired of tired of being used. It doesn't matter if you're tired. You gonna do it. It's like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I don't care. You gonna transfer that footage. You gonna do it. I said, you see, yes, plug and play for the drive. And literally just slot the SSD in the case and done. I'm telling you. It's like, so the thing with that is, like we were talking about the USB-C plugging into the computer kind of thing. The thing with that is, once those ports get warped, and you would think to put reinforcement casings around USB-C, and that's usually fine. It's just that little lip in the center of the receiving device that's the problem. Or it's that back end of the, like a cable. I don't have one nearby me where I can pick it up. Well, actually, I can. The part that usually breaks the most is just that little part right there. And so it bends. Okay, well, once that's gone, the whole device is trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if it's on a computer, now we're sacrificing that stuff. That's why I was saying with the cable, I mentioned cable management earlier with the T3 Cal Digit, TS3. Yeah, TS3 for the Cal Digit that I use. I talked about my cable management before, but the reason why I run my cables through that zippable pouch is so I can have everything in the order that is making the most sense to connect into that Cal Digit. So now I bring that up, I cinch those down to the desk so there's no pressure on those ports, which is why I've been able to use mine for as long as I have and not have any issues. Or even with cables, that's another big thing. I don't even know if cables are going to be on sale today. Like that, they are worth it. They are worth it. I said I was going to drop that TS3 in the chat. I will do that for this one. And then I do want to see if JS Aux has any cables discounted. That's who I love to use. But let me drop this. My TS3. It wouldn't hurt to get another one of these. Actually, TS3 Cal Digit. All right, so now we got that going. So cables, 2 is 1, 1 is none, and they will go out when you least expect it. JS Aux, let's just do what cables they have. USB-Cs, hey, I figured, okay, all right, shout out to JS Aux. This is what I use for mine, the braided cables that's with the reinforced rubber. These are so freaking good. So these are good. These are good cables. I think I'm just drop a link to the page because it don't matter which one you get. These are great. If you're doing, though, I will say this. If you're doing for connectivity to your camera, you're doing USB-C type connectivity for your audio interface, stay under 10 feet. So like the 6.6 feet, those joints, those are best. But stay under 10 feet because the longer that data has to travel in that cable, especially for video stuff, the more prone you are to run into issues. So what I do is I space that out. Instead of getting one super long, freaking stupid long cable, I get like a 6-foot cable of this, and then I'll do a USB. Since I use cam links, I'll do a longer cable, extension cable that's like USB 3.0. I'll check and see if that one that I like to use is on sale. But cables, JS Aux is my favorite. One of them. Anyway, JS AUX. No, it's my favorite. I'll say that because I don't buy enough from anybody else to make the difference. But if you need USB type A, USB-C, get it. USB-C to USB-C, get it. These are deals that are worth picking up. I would recommend every 18 to 20 months-ish, something like that. If you've been using the same cables, go ahead and get your backups because those cables, again, it's not the ports that I found with these that usually go out. Actually, I don't think I've had any JS Aux. Oh, yes, I did. I broke it. It was a USB-C cable. It actually broke because my phone was connected into something, dropped on it, and then it, like I said, that same little weak point, it broke off. So it's not the cable that you'll find like the wires get frayed issue. It's just the integrity of all USB-Cs. Just that little tip there where it connects into the housing part that usually tends to break off. So these are best to have. I really like JS Aux. They are dope. The wired braided cables, they're great. I have the blue ones just because I like blue, but I got those. So these are great cables to get. I do have one of these for my phone. Those are good. So even for these, I got these ones, the teal ones, that I would use for like, what is it? So like the ZV, no, it wasn't. It was the Canon M50 actually. I needed to replace that one because that was a USB micro type B, I think it is. So these ones right here, these USB micros, I would get those for those older cameras. I think the ZV-1 Mark 1 also fits into that. So just look at your devices. What do you have? L-shaped ones are great. But my L-shaped one is Condor Blue, but stay with 6 feet. And then if you need an extension, so I don't know if they have any USB extension cables. So I use something like this. It's not by JS Aux, but I use something like this for the other side of that. A lot of people just get one cable that's super long. So for my streaming setup, my cable that is connected from HDMI into the whatever, that one's fairly long. It's just a good one. And then it has connected to the cam link. So now that other cable that goes from the cam link, that's USB-A into the computer to USB-C, that one's a JS Aux one. So I stretch that out. So both sides have a good length of a cable, maybe like 4 to 6 feet, because I don't need to have it that long, but you do want enough. Just don't do uber long. HDMI cables. See, HDMI cables. I don't see nothing necessarily special, but if you need some, get them. I want to see who has XLR cables, but it's mostly accessories, like it has been the last couple years. I have not seen where it's like you're seeing great deals on recent cameras. I just typed accessories. What I'm saying, XLR cable. All right. I don't like these silver joints. I don't care how many people rate them, whatever. I don't like those. Cheap is cheap. When you buy too cheaply, you also buy the problems that come with being cheap. The mono price ones, I like those. Go connector ones, those are great. Hosa is great, but they're not necessarily on sale. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to maybe get some. But if you're gonna get some good ones. The random brand, cheapo, something that somebody's using with a $5 microphone from Amazon also is not a review worth listening to. And a lot of times you have people that don't know what they're talking about review stuff on Amazon. It is what it is. But like I say, you see mine for, at least on this account, saying purchased since April 2019. I just had that XLR cable go bad. I just had that one cable or one of those one cables go bad that I swapped out to maybe 2 months ago or something like that. So a good cable will last you. These don't. They just don't. They come with any kind of device that has XLR and it comes with cables is usually these cheaper joints. So it helps to get something extra, but you do want to get something that's like shielded first. And then it should be, I think you may see something that's like shielded, grounded or whatever. But like I said, these are the ones that I personally use and like. It's just I'm a texture person. Some about the texture, these are good. These are solid. They're not on sale, but I like these. Once I find something that I use, I just stick with it. That I like, I'll just keep using it. All right. Can someone bully CalDigit into making a unit with more USB-A? It's a TS3. TS3 has more USB-A. So the CalDigit has a nice rack and under the desk mounting for easy cable. Yep. So this is how I got my MacBook. I wasn't gonna ship it and bought it. Brought it, or I guess your brother bought it for you or whatever, was on a business trip and had him bring it. Yep, that's cool. Saying go Eagles. Already football. And shoot. Ravens talk with you on. Good to see you. Saying yes, 5 hours sounds great. Absolutely not. Saying no rush, professor. We got 5 hours to take note. Not doing it at all. Wait, I miss Obbs in the building. What is up, Obbs? Good to see you. Okay, I gotta go back. I'm trying to scroll back up. Let me stop getting distracted. All right, so we're gonna get through this chat and then we're gonna call it good. Okay, now I see where I was. Hi, Ops. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Glad that you are here. I'm good to see you. I'm thankful for you. Let's see here. Alrighty. K-Walk Comedy in the building, saying I use a doc from uni. As long as it's a brand you trust, it's all good. Saying, given that I have all Thunderbolt 4 ports, not super worried, but a big issue with Cal is not enough USB-A ports. You can get the little adapter joints. I talked about this before. I need to show you this again, apparently. So let me grab this. So I did a short on this. It wasn't worth doing a whole exhausted video for because it's just not that serious. But if you go to the local big box shop, hardware store, doesn't matter, you get a tackle box. This is my creator tackle box, courtesy of Ecamm Live. They did not add all this stuff to it though, but it did come with some stuff from the first creator camp, which I'm grateful for. But in this, you keep all your little doohickeys and kajiggers. Inside of that, one of my special places that I have is just a bunch of these. This is another one of my accessories. All those little accessories, usually if it comes with like a lot of your equipment comes with a lot of different stuff. Okay, well, that's a great way to store all that stuff. So you get USB-A to USB-C. I got this when I was traveling. Another one, USB-A to USB-C, or USB-C to USB-A, which is what you would specifically need. And you want to make sure that it's fast enough. So USB-C to USB type A. This is all you need. You don't need a whole bunch. And as long as it's solid, it's not flimsy, it's not plastic. These are all metal. I think minus this one that I had to get out of town. Yeah, that one's plastic. The other ones, these are all metal. Get you USB-A to USB-C, and it works just fine. So you don't have to wait until it's like, oh, I need to buy a whole new thing. No, you don't. Just need a little adapter. But once you start to acquire more and more stuff, just put you together a little creator tackle box that literally has all the little stuff, the adjustments, the adapters. One of the things you'll find a lot of times with stuff that comes with your audio is stuff that goes at the bottom of, don't throw these away, put them to get, because sometimes when you need to build stuff, which we often do as a creator, that you can't buy this online. Stores are starting to get hip to us doing this, and they're trying to sell types of ready to go kits or whatever, but it still won't be all the stuff that you need. When I want to put a rubber foot on my tripod for the monopod, I can swap that and add that out. That goes there. Something that I know was 100% dock inspired is one of these. No matter which way you're leveling your camera, you put this in the hot shoe and you know what the level is versus having to do it digitally. So just a bunch of shoe. Did I curse? Or bunch of shoe is what I said. It's just a bunch of stuff that you need. Sometimes with light stands. If you remember a video I did a few years back, maybe one or two. I think it's maybe like close to 2 years now. I was like, I wanted to see, how would I use a monopod? Is it something that I need, or do I need something else? I took a light stand, took one of these, and I'm able to build and put on there. Well, usually you don't need anything extra, but I can put on there anything that I want or need for a ball head. And I just used that for I think it was close to a year because it was just in the house. I don't need a full tripod with the full spread. And most tripods that are on sale today are aluminum. If you see carbon fiber, get those. Then that's fine. But I don't need these legs spread everywhere, taking up a bunch of surface area. Just a monopod. Stabilization legs. That's all I need. The camera's not moving. It's going to be here. It needs to move here. It needs to be here, or a weird angle. I don't need a spread for the leg. I just need one thing. And so I was like, okay, this works. I also have this, but then I also got a monopod. So that's the kind of stuff that you can do and use for your stuff. So yeah, okay. I think it's covered that. So I have CalJet on the desk, but in travel mode, use the Uni for, yep. I think mine's by Anchor. It's just smaller though. As for power, as much as it can deliver, 100-watt charge, I don't plan on charging through it. Get it? So I picked up Sony ZV-10 plus the Sigma 30mm f1.4 plus the Sigma 16 f1.4 and a small rig cage. This is going to be my budget photography and content video mode camera. All I need is a decent mic. Depending on what you're doing, I don't know what the goal is for the microphone. Honestly, if you catch one of those Rode Video Mic Pros on sale, those are still freaking fantastic. Honestly, if you just need like on-the-go audio, you already got a bigger setup kind of a thing, those are fantastic. ECM mics aren't always great because when you do have rigs and stuff, you just need a microphone somewhere on the rig. It may not necessarily be best to put it on the hot shoe because of all the other stuff, like a monitor and all the other things that you have to handle. But you're saying you're doing photography, so like it could be a light, could be something else. I don't know. It just depends on your setup and what you're trying to do. And then if you want to go smaller, then go smaller with like one of the mini vlog mics, depending on what's what. But that is a heavy Betty setup. I'm not gonna hold you. There's them Sigma lenses, beautiful lenses, but I'm gonna tell you, heavy Betty. Those are heavy Bettys. So they got some girth to them. Catcher needs to make, okay, I think I covered that one. Said run them pockets if you want that good glass. Hey, it is what it is. Again, good to see you at Ravens Talk with Yolanda. Glad that you are here. So what's a good external hard drive to use with the Mini Mac? So I went through those earlier, and those are still going to be, for me, the Samsung SSDs. And so you'll see the newer ones on sale today, and I'll drop a link to this in the chat as well. But for me, it's still going to be like T5, T7s. T5s are not on sale, so the T7s. These are fantastic. 2 gigabytes, not 2 gigabytes, excuse me. 2 terabytes is 2,000 gigabytes. So when you see a terabyte, 1,000 gigabytes, 1 terabyte. 2,000 gigabytes equals 2 terabytes. So you have a ton of space. From editing off of it, not necessarily storing stuff, even just work stuff that you want to use. My stuff gets just regulated with these. So I'll drop these in the chat. But this is what I would recommend, the T7s. It's other ones out there. It's other deals out there. This is the one. Come rain or shine or hell or high water, this works. It does not work from it being abused and jumping out of book bags in airports and skedaddling down the runways for whatever reason, as mine has tended to do many, many times. It still works. No, it doesn't have like the rugged shielding or whatever. That is irrelevant. Because SSDs do not have the spinning disk drive. That's the difference between where you see HDD and SSD. HDD is where you had the spinning drives and you would hear it rev up. It's like, you hear those little motors and all that stuff because it's this actual spinning drive. So you see HDD, those are great if you just need to store stuff on it. You're not editing from it. You just need to add stuff there. You want to hold a bunch of documents. You want to hold a bunch of old footage, or just have backup footage there. That's fine. HDDs, you like, fine, whatever. SSDs, you plan to travel with it. Oh, I need to pack up my computer. I need to, I can't finish the edit here. I need to pack it up. We're getting ready to travel, hit the road or whatever. You want to take your stuff with you. SSDs, because those do not have the little spinning disk drives on there. So if you bump it, tap it, drop it, sound like the Bop It commercial at this point, it will not mess up. So that's my recommendation for that one. I'm gonna drop that in the Chizat for you, Raven, real quick. SSD. I'm not gonna put the name, just put SSD. So that's what I would recommend. And again, if I am recommending something, it's because I've battle tested it and it's recommended. You know what I'm saying? There's a few things that I haven't, it still is, because plenty of creator friends that I trust have used, talked with, or what I can ask questions. They test it and we go back and forth with it. Real nerdy conversations happening behind the scenes and stuff. Then it's like, yeah, it's worth it. Damn you all, damn. That's what that remind me of. Good to see you. Glad you're just saying wish the ZV-10 Mark II went on sale. Them days are gone. They are not. You know what I think? The camera brand the store that actually does a 30-40% off Black Friday deal on newer cameras would steal the market. And that's what nobody's thinking about. Everybody's so greedy and gung-ho on making every dollar possible. And I get it. Make the money. Nobody's saying don't. Because them making more money adds more to the infrastructure, gives us more features and possibilities and stuff. But if a camera brand today dropped 30% off of a brand new camera like the A6700 ZV, and when they say, you know what, we're going for the gold. We're doing 35-40% off of our newer stuff. And we basically are selling them almost at cost. Everybody would eat those up and they would buy them like crazy. So whoever wants to dominate the camera market like that, let them do a legit Black Friday. Not no 5, 8, 10, 12, and 15% discounts. Because that's basically tax. And in some states, not even. you know what I'm saying? Like, that's sales tax, basically. But, so 10, 15% is like tax. Nice to not have to pay it. But the brand that drops 30, 35, even 37 if you want to get funky with it, 37% off of a newer camera body, they sell out. They would literally clear out their inventory 100%. I just don't think anybody's willing to do that anymore. So I'm just saying. Let's see. Didn't I say I had Gladney goals today saying you better rock that tackle box? Let me get one and dish this shoe box. I'm trying to tell you. And this was something that, I can't remember who initially did it, but I do remember because we were at People's Video and your name's on the tip of my tongue. And I hate when that happens. Lord help, bring it back to me. But I'm trying to remember. But this was his original idea. So it's not my original idea, and I would give credit where credit is due, but I just can't remember at this moment. But that was the thing. It's like, and he pulled it out. He said, yeah, I just do a bunch of this. And it's like, oh, really? So the cool thing with this is that these come because it's for fishing. Don't get a home decor one. Don't get a DIY type stuff like from some, I don't know what those shops are called, where you can buy yarn and stuff, craft stores. Don't get it from one of those because the price is hiked up unnecessarily. Go to a hardware store where you find a man with suspenders and a big belly because he ate good yesterday and knee braces on, and ask him at the hardware store, where's your fishing supply stuff? And you can probably even check the clearance sections because this is not anything special. But what you want to, the reason why you do want to go to the fishing section, you can find it online on Amazon for sure. But like the fishing section, because there's no price hikes for that. Nobody really cares about it enough to, it's like, oh, this is the best brand for fishing tackle box. It probably is a something, but you'll find a bunch of these. It doesn't matter which one, but you'll find it where you can have the different size sleeves in here. So whether you want a bigger one or a smaller section, you can build your own sections. And so all I did was put all my stuff out, all those little bags where all the accessories come from. I went ahead and I'm like, okay, these super convenient to have in one place because a mic like this. And then I switched to, let's say the Rode Pod mic or something. And then I switched to something else. It comes with the stands, usually comes with the stands. Like I said, those USB-A to USB-C adapters, those are in there. Every time I have an idea and I want to build something, I just go here. It stays on my printer, available unto me at all times. So super duper helpful. They even threw in a little gaffer's tape, thin version, which is super nice to have. I never would have thought of. Might as well show you since I mentioned it in case you've never seen it. Just a little thin gaffer's tape. So this did come with eCams. Why is that eCam orange? Because they gave me the original case. They gave all of us at Creator Cam. Oh, this is another something that's really good that came in the package. They gave us some stuff like to start it off, so it's just not a plastic box, but they did give you something. This is by Ulanzi, and so this is all of your screws, all of the stuff that needs a screw. Even this flat one I probably use the most, just when you need to tighten a base plate or something like that on anything. This has a hex wrench. This has a torque wrench. This has a whatever, all the wrenches. And it does have a loop if you want to put it on your keychain and be that guy or girl. But whatever floats your boat defines your lawful remote. But that tackle box is the best thing going. So I'm telling saying the shoebox Santa holler. Hey man, get in where if you need gaffer tape, you use duct tape to section those out. More power to you. Okay. Hey, get creative with it. Since sadly, musicians with keyboards that react to cable adapters like oil and water, hella latency over cables adapters. It would be a big deal for what's the name for musicians. So it must have been reading toward shoebox scum. Said this poor shoebox been holding on for dear life with duct tape, masking tape for about. Okay, so something else that I'll do, I'll repurpose those because for whatever reason, all us millennials love to keep our Apple boxes, and for whatever reason, can't throw them away. So I took them and because I was clearing off my shelf. I'm like, why do I keep these boxes? The warranty's gone. The device is like, why am I keeping these? I said, y'all gonna go to work. So in one of my other text drawers that stay on the shelf is I took the Apple boxes, flipped them over. Now you're containers. And so I sectioned those at the front. And then I put the bigger ones that, I'm trying to think what even came in those. It was something else. Like let's say a Mac Mini type box, and you just take the little plastic insert out. I just flipped it over. And so now those are little containers within the thing. So my, what goes in the one? Smaller adapter cables and stuff like that, that's in one. SD card pouches, that's in one. My markers and stuff, that's in one. And then it goes into the bigger stuff. So like my travel adapters, it has that stuff there. Small cage accessory type stuff, like all my screws, all the stuff goes in that tackle box. The bigger pieces go in the other boxes. So I still like if we're going to keep these boxes for whatever reason, because I don't know what that is about us, but we all seem to love to do it. I said, y'all gonna go to work and come off the shelf. And so I just flipped them over, took the inserts out, and actually threw them away. And so those are little containers and flipped over. Who cares? Nobody knows. You know what I mean? So as long as it works for you. If that shoebox, okay, is holding on for glory, put them Apple boxes and stuff to work, or Google boxes or Android, it don't matter. So I think I could get one of those 12-port USB Anchor hubs. Anchor's good. I like them. Said tackle. I said, well, golly Lee. So that tackle box from Creator Camp #1 is clutch. Still adding to it. I filled mine's up. I'm trying not to go into a second version of that. I think I want to do an IKEA shelf in the closet next with the containers or something like that. I think that's my next best bet. So I heard Diana mention those hose of cable. The shame I felt knowing I've been using the same hose of cable for, I mean, a good cable is a good cable is a good cable. I have hose of cables that are about 8 years old, so I can't talk. So it is what it is. Saying thanks for the recommendation and link. You're very, very welcome. Saying I swore off HDD so long ago, it feels like ages. I mean, like I said, I still have one that's an 8 terabyte that just holds old footage. So if something happened with Dropbox, if for any reason, like, I don't know, I have it. And I have even still space on it. It's like if I needed to keep something and know that I have it, it's on that 8 terabyte HDD drive. So that one does have a spinning disk. Hell, you can feel it vibrating on the table when it's revving up or whatever. But it's just like I hold stuff on that one. It's like I don't do anything else with it though. Saying this. Trying to tell you, saying pro tip, always try to keep your SSDs in a cool area. Those things get toasty. I've not had any issues with them overheating, and I do not have mine in a safe, cool environment. They're as cool as I'm going to be. Like the T5, not T5, those are the T5s. They're not that far from the Cal Digit, which is the way I have mine set up. They're sandwiched together. Guess what? Using toupee tape, okay? So that, because it's not going to leave any residue. I told you toupee tape is the greatest wonder, okay? Since, what is that dude named George Costanza on Seinfeld, when he had a unit. It's toupee tape, and it's 3 of them together. And then I have my Gorilla double-sided tape attached to the back of my laptop thing. Because again, all my stuff is organized, so everything's plugged in. The cables are uniform down. Whatever needs to plug into the Cal Digit plugs in, and then all of the cables from there move on. So Mine are not in those, and it's right behind the laptop too, which definitely cranks out some heat. So it's not, they ain't been protected, and they've been running like that for years. So I don't know what to tell you. Said, isn't the Z9 on sale for $49.99? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even look up Nikon sales. I just be 100%. I don't, and I know you like them, but I just don't. And I like Camera Conspiracies is trying like even the Nikon stuff, and he gives everybody a fair shot. But to I some stuff ain't even worth. Like I like I'm interested in their more creator lineup, but like the Z9, whatever would I do with this? I'm gonna pull this up in the background real quick. So if we take a look, see over hither, so $49.99, $500 off for their Black Friday sale. No, don't click me out. Go away. All right. I mean, again, I'm more creator based. This is way outside my jurisdiction for cameras. And even if I needed a $5,000 camera, I'm still not going Nikon. If you're doing photos, respect, but I wouldn't. Nikon is not on my radar for a camera that I would buy. They just aren't. But are they on sale? Yes, $500. Goes away December 8th, or the financing or whatever. Well, no, the offer ends on December 8th. So yeah, this is that Paybu card thing that I was telling y'all about as well. So some stuff there, but yeah, if I'm dropping $5,000, I'm not doing it with somebody that has questionable autofocus. Never in a day. So same price comparison on Amazon. I would probably buy it from B&H just because reliable versus, even though the shipped and sold by Amazon. The thing with these bigger purchases like this, I would never make on Amazon. I would, if they had the better deal, I'd ask B&H to price match. But I know that it's shipping from B&H. I know B&H tracks their shipping and watches their stuff, and they actually ship stuff in the box. What I find a lot of times with these, which is so unfortunate because there's nothing, like I have no advice for that kind of stuff, other than just to be careful of it. When you have these larger $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 purchases, Amazon does not check all the time for, like, I could buy something for $500, $5,000, it don't matter. Big purchase thing, right? You would think it's like, this is a big item, we should make sure everything's in a box. They don't care. It's like, I don't know if they money laundering, work for the mafia, or what's happening with Amazon, because they do not care. And what a lot of people were finding, they see a great deal on Amazon, they would buy it, shipped and sold by Amazon, but they would buy it, and instead of the camera being in, it would be a $300 heavy Betty laptop with a book. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, this is not my camera. Or it's a way cheaper one. So let's say the Z50 is in there with a book. And it's just like, how did this come? I bought it brand new. And it's like, so the Amazon is like, oh, send us a picture. And it was like even news stories about all this. It's like, oh, send us a picture. And it's like, oh, okay, you want to see the book that I got sent in the Z50 instead of the $5,000 camera? So yeah, it's like that big old thing, Mother Oats. I'm going B&H if I got to get something like that. Especially if that man wearing suspenders, his name is Uncle Rufus. He would know everything. So I'm visiting family this week and have my tackle box in tow. That's a lot of equipments. Said, I pity the person who tries to throw out my keyboard boxes. You gonna be at the bottom of a rip wearing cement shoes. I said, you know what? They gonna run stories on us, and the History Channel is gonna have a whole documentary about millennials and they daggone product boxes that for whatever reason we cannot get rid of. We don't hoard things, but we just keep the product boxes for sure, in pristine condition, mind you. Keep my instrument boxes. That I get. It's like, and initially I will keep something if I need to return it or if I do plan to sell it. Here's the kicker. I've sold stuff. That's why I had to go clear out my boxes and either put it to use or just throw it away, which was like, I don't even know what that was about, but it was a moment. And I'm just like, but what if I need it? And what if product was sold without the box? Forgot I even had the box. Now I'm going to clear out the shelf and I'm like, hey buddy, you still hanging around? Shoot. Hold on. Mercy. about died over here. Whew. Water did bad. Water. Water went down the wrong way. Throat dry. Whew. Trying to take me out. Jeez. Somebody send the EMS. Mercy. I ain't never had that happen before. Now I sound like a lady named Bertha. Smoke 2 packs a day. Mercy. I'm like, my throat was dry. We'll be back after these messages, apparently. All right, let me take a 5 shoot. Let me see if I can reclaim my voice. Jeez. Like, dang, I was coughing hard. Y'all didn't even pat me on the back. Shoot. I was just kidding. Whew. Throat dry and then you choke. It's like, what is that about? Said hush your mouth. Don't mean IKEA and trigger my business debit card is taking it out. If your debit card can hide out from today's purchases, good unto you. Said, have you ever touched the SSDs while reading or writing data they heat up? Mine are fine. Even with 1, 2, they're fine. I have switched out the cables. That is something I still switch out regularly. But as far as them being hot, even with traveling and using them, they still are fine. And like I said, they're back to back with toupee tape. Mercy. Apparently, I still got my Bertha voice on. This may take a minute to go away. I'm saying, say that my drives are sandwiched together with one-sided double stick. I'm trying to say, saying it's stacked on top of my speaker. Look, they holding on for dear life. Saying, what's a Nikon? It's an emergency medic. I'm saying, if you don't call 911, call 922, call somebody. Shoot. I said, I'm trying to tell you, look, I almost took me out a couple seconds ago. I almost died. I think Cat William like, I almost died. So glad I'm saying. I'm like, you got washed? What's your problem? Like, yeah, you've been using that thermos cup. You ain't using the regular glasses. See how you take this water? I almost died. Okay. like, so for the SSDs, let me help you with the shoot. And saying the water was a pay to sell. I'm trying to tell you something like, hey, don't you go down on this up. I'm trying to listen. I'm making it to 2025 and beyond. I'm gonna bring my thermos cup back in because I don't know what this glass. I'm gonna throw this glass in the trash when we done. I'm like, what is the problem? And I trying to take you off for telling the truth. Like, hey, did y'all notice? I'm like, let me get a sip of water, and it got worse. It got worse. I ain't been watching this cup since before the stream started, so I don't know what happened. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. The reason why I'm glad I muted, if y'all could have heard how it sounded, my eyes watering, I can't see it. I'm like, wait a minute. Then come back with the Bertha voice, and I'm like, so if you want to, and I'm like, where? I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Shoot. He said Nikon sent a dry spy drone. You know what? It's like if It's like take one of those. It's like the Canon cripple hammer. And what is it that what's it for the Nikon? Oh, you got the Fuji Assassins. What is it with the Nikon that Camera Conspiracies has? It's like bring a bunch of those and just let it come in. And shoot, they disguised the Popeye's biscuit as a cup of water today is what they did. Shoot. See, I'm not getting rid of that box I had. They had $150 Magic Cube. See, that's another one. I still got my keyboard box. I don't know why. Don't type itself. It's darn magic. Shoot. Yes, I'm trying to tell you, St. Valerie Prince, it's good to see you. Glad that you're here. St. ONG said, I've been watching from the back of the room. Then, Diane, you got me crying. Listen, I'm not getting. I can't let that Cat Williams clip. Put that mug on repeat. Like, I almost died. Almost took me out in the stream. Like, hey, how your stream go today? I almost died today. You almost lost you, didn't I? Shoot. Boy, I was reaching for my life trying to hit that mute button, and it stuck right there, and I'm just like, Lord have mercy. Then come back, got the Bertha voice, still trying. I ain't even got enough water to even, you know what? I'm like, listen, it's a Popeye's biscuit that was stuck in that cup today somewhere. I'm trying to tell you. So all I see is a back of cool filter. Right? Shoot. Everybody been behind that lady in the gas and let me get a pack of coos. And you standing there with your kombucha and a pack of turtles or something. Or a Snickers. And you standing there, let me get a pack of coos and let me get the Marlboro Lights. Shoot. Oh man, look, y'all play too much. Y'all play too much. Mount Alliance. Whew, I don't know if I can recommend them no more. Shoot. It's saying hold up. Saying which company does the L? It's Sigma, Lumix, and what's that one? It's like I can't think of what it's called. High quality brand, allegedly. What the hell are they called? It's right there on the tip of my tongue too. Leica. It's Leica, Sigma, and Lumix. Those are in the L Mountain Alliance. I said, how was your trip? I almost died. For real. I said, I came with y'all. Listen. I'm trying to see. So I know your pain. My coffee went down the wrong way one morning on live, and I was trying to play. Look, I was about to have to call somebody. I couldn't even talk. I'm like, shoot. What's that Medea joke? It's like, you're going to be so messed up, you ain't going to dial 911. You're going to dial 919. I was finna dial 919. I'm like, what's your emergency? that. Shoot. I'm like, listen, I couldn't even hold a kid together. And it just kept getting worse. And then, it was bad. My eyes started watering. And I'm like, look, try to come back. Bertha voice populated, okay? I ain't got enough. I'm just holding on just in case I need that last little swig. If I'm like, my throat was already dry, so I was gonna take a swig. Then it goes down the wrong way. So now you got both of those working against each other. It's not even going down the right area. Listen. He said that. Stop. I'm not. Listen. And then, y'all know none of us ate right yesterday. Okay, got dressing, turkey, and all this other stuff. Sitting up there. I'm like, listen, we finna have a whole conniption going on over here. Listen. I don't know what happened today. So I'm gonna look at water now, playing Mini Men. And what's that stuff on me? That song got a whole new meaning now. Yeah, it's like for that shoot. You say you need to text. Do they even have a text line? And then at that point, only one eye was working because the right eye was watering. Don't y'all clip? Do not clip it. YouTube need to take that feature off. That's why I'm glad I muted. Y'all play too much. So you need to hit that 5-minute break scene and go get your rest. I promise you this. Next week is going to be the regular one. It's going to be the regular. Saying that last look, I'm just holding on. Said just keep holding on and just keep holding on. Look, that mug almost took me down for prayer. Just put your head down for prayer and stay that way. Can't even say nothing. Just stay in it. Shoot. See, I'm Jamaican. We don't mess with Thanksgiving. It's like every culture have a day where y'all eat festively. Okay? Shoot. So everybody do something. I said, I'm done, Belle. She was the one I was. Listen, I'm not even, when I say real tears, it just like, I'm like, so one eye works. Neither pipes, the one is dry. The other one's just for air, and that's not working. I almost died. I'm done with y'all. I am done. So I gotta watch this again. Because I'm gonna add the coughing. What's that? Okay, last one. What's that one on Instagram where people be like, I'm gonna go back in time and give, like, they pick somebody that they don't like or historically was a bad person. It's like, I'm gonna go back in time and give this person a Popeye's biscuit. And they just watching them choke on it. That's I'm so glad I muted it. Y'all ain't finna have me out here on the interwebs looking crazy. We're done. I'm going to get my regular thermos that I can actually trust. I'm going to throw this glass in the trash. Okay. I don't know who you work for, but I would not be a party to. I'm not kidding. I almost gave up the ghost today on this stream, and we are going to be done because I need real water I can trust. Okay, and this coffee is not going to help and make the situation better. So I'm just saying, I didn't learn. That's why they try to make it up with the Native American Day after Thanksgiving. It's a whole debacle, you know. I'm just saying. Say your video editor need to make about 20 different shorts out of that. Tell people how they gonna be coughing when they miss that. It's like, look, I'm not gonna hold you. I may put that to use, but I'm just glad I muted it because it got bad, and then it got worse, and then it got worser. Okay, it got worser. Actual tears from laughing. Listen, I'm done. I ain't messing with y'all today. Not even a little nothing. No jelly, no jam, no nothing. Just biscuit, dry biscuit. So it didn't matter if you muted. It's the aftermath. For real. It then came back. Okay, y'all. Gonna finish the stream. And I'm done. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Okay. Merry Kwanzaa. All right. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay. I'm thankful I survived the stream today. I haven't had to say that one ever before, but I am thankful that I survived the stream today. Love on your loved ones a little better. I'm going to get some water I can trust, because that glass has apparently been paid by someone. And I will see y'all next week. Cause y'all not finna be, I'm done. We're done. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all.